Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 180. We're back down in the basement to talk about another week of wrestling, another week without Impact.
Sorely missed.
So I just texted you at work. I did watch Ring of Honor. I took that bullet for everybody. And
I'll
talk
second with Athena and Billy Stark. That was okay.
It was okay. I'll talk about the whole show. It won't take me long because thankfully it was an hour. That was one of the saving.
And they had 50 matches in that hour.
There was a lot of matches in that hour. Yes. So we'll talk about that. We also attended I was going to say local indie show, but that's not true.
Local. Enough.
I mean, it was an hour and 10-minute drive, so that's not super local.
I guess. I guess for indies now. Yeah.
We went to GCW, not that GCW. It's great Canadian.
I mean, they had the belt.
They did. They did. They retired you noticed they were using the GCW as in Game Changer Wrestling belt for...
Yeah. Which they didn't before. They actually had their own belt before, but then the guy who was champion, he had the main GCW.
Is it John
belt.
Atlas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was obviously not made as well because it looked like the thin plates, but
so they did get a belt made, and it
looked decent.
It looked better, yeah. They replaced it before the match started, I guess.
Design wise, okay. Quality wise, looked pretty solid for them.
Yeah, it was season beating, so it was in theory, I think one of their bigger shows. It didn't really feel like it, to be honest.
Title changes, so
it did have title changes. I still had a good time, obviously, because one of our favorite things is just. There's always fans that don't disappoint us.
One guy who actually got in the ring.
One guy who I think was super drunk would be my guess. And yes. So my question to you, did he know the people in the row? Because he went and bought the kids in his row masks. And then he was getting really, the boy that looked about your age who was super uncomfortable with this guy.
He was less reactive than us even.
Hanging off of them, talking to them.
Yeah, but then he was sitting with other people. So I don't know if he's like...
Did they actually know him? Or were they just that guy was sitting next to them and is drunk and will talk to everybody near him?
I don't know.
Me
I was
either.
really confused. Just what his whole deal was. And then they had to get him out of the ring, I think, during intermission.
And the kid right beside me was super into it, rocking back and forth on his seat and
shouting things repeatedly.
Yeah. So unless you're in Ontario, it won't mean much. But I guess the two big gets for them were Tarek, right? Who's a pretty well-known Ontario indie, maybe Canadian
indie, yeah.
Yeah, a explosive athlete, looks good. And then the other was we've seen him at a Super Kick show where we saw House of Black in that awesome 6-man tag
many moons ago.
So it was Pretty Ricky. What's his last name? Wildy.
He's kind of like our Canadian Dalton Castle. He reminds me a lot of Castle.
His character work was amazing. He's awesome. Intense. And
he was yelling right in a kid's face, and just his face.
He got nose to nose with a kid. I don't know if he knows the kid or something, but he was something else. And it was funny because he was in the main event facing my favorite Bone Crusher.
Honestly, he made the main event for me.
Because Bone Crusher awesome. Steve Brown, is that his name?
Yeah.
He is 400 pounds and really can't do anything. So you need he's usually in multi-man matches or hardcore matches. But this was it hardcore? No, right?
Yeah. It
was the Christmas presents, which were a chair in a box. But, so yeah, it was a lot of character work for Pretty Ricky, and he's impressive. I can't say he was impressive in ring here just because
we don't know from this. I mean,
his opponent's so limited. We liked him at Super Kicked as well.
Yeah, no, I remember him standing out a little even then, but just him, especially going full heel here was fantastic.
And we saw Jax, what's his last name? Williams. We like him quite a bit.
Yeah, and he was with that survivalist dude who's actually solid.
Yeah, he's good. And Jax is now partnered up with, I don't know her name, but some tiny woman. And they're a good little heel
Zelina
indie.
Vega type.
Yeah, a good heel indie act. So it wasn't the best GCW show I've seen, but I always have fun when we go. So we went out, had dinner, went to that show.
Taurus figure.
Oh, they were selling, what's the brand that was there?
Legends of Lucha Libre figures. They had him, Hijo del Paraguayo, and Vampiro.
And we just saw, you got to see peak Taurus because we watched him face Vikingo.
Yeah, we talked about it on
which was
the
amazing.
ROH show. Yeah,
they had another match on Rampage. I watched that too. It felt like a 8-minute version of the one they had on the pay-per-view, basically. A lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, I got an actual Taurus figure now, which is kind of cool.
It looks nice, and the scale's pretty much right.
Scale is right. It's got basically the same articulation as the new basics, where with the new articulation. So
right,
it works out solid. But that was pretty nice. And they actually had some replica belts. They're not up to WWE shop standards, although they did have the Shawn Michaels belt, but still belts there and a bunch of figures and a bunch of other
And I remembered to take cash so we could do, because it's always for charity with them. We took food for a food drive. We bought 50-50 tickets where the 50 that the person doesn't win goes to the food bank. So
I think the lady who won
she just donated the whole thing, which I thought about doing if I won as well. Like, why wouldn't you sort of thing? Unless you really need the money, obviously. But it was a good time. And I guess Christmas has happened since we last recorded. So you didn't get many figures because a lot of them are...
Actually, technically, the tally was one.
Back ordered or delayed or whatever.
Yeah, but got Carmelo Hayes coming, which I expected. I just knowing as I've come to know how you think with my Christmas, I knew you would get me him because we both like him, and I know, especially for you, he's someone I don't have yet.
Correct, that's my favorite.
And also, he was admittedly high on my list, so there was that. And then also kind of fitting that was I'll get that LA Knight basic, the first LA Knight, which is good because contested the new basics. Although I did see
you haven't done that yet.
A new battle pack at Walmart, so I was considering getting that, and then also blue Stardust, so we can get both Stardust, which I think is necessary. And
and then,
so that's
so you picked
and then we
up
got that Supreme Phoenix
and Shelton Benjamin.
Ruthless Aggression, Shelton Benjamin here from randomly. I think Mania 21. So
we hit a couple
kind of cool
random Walmarts on the way to and from.
Honestly, the first one was the only one worth. I think it was at the one near our old Taekwondo stomping grounds. Well, not closest to us technically.
No,
because we got one
closer,
very local. But yeah, no. And then we got. I think I got a few wrestling shirts. I got the what do they call it on Shop AEW? I got like the special version of the Bullet Club Gold shirt. It's like Top Rope Tuesday. That's what it was.
Yep.
They had like this. So because I have the standard Bullet Club Gold where it's like kind of got that darker gold and it's like kind of glittery almost. Yes. But then like a little while ago they put out this special one that's got like what would you say? Like it's got like that effect where it's like supposed to look like it's shining, but obviously it's not actually.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like it's like supposed to look like chrome, but not really.
I know
it doesn't have the actual shine effect. And then I think like a couple weeks before Christmas or whatever, they had a sale where they were bringing back some little designs. So that was one of the ones, and I really wanted that. So I should have gotten that white Better Than You Baby shirt too, but we didn't. So I got that, and then I got the Hangman shirt that says Anxious Millennial Cowboy.
Yeah, you wore that already a couple times.
I'll love that because that's already I think that already confused my aunt, right?
So for people who don't watch wrestling, it makes no sense.
So it's literally none of those things
that's
apply
your brand.
To me. Maybe Anxious at most, but like no, it'll be funny. And then I got, what was the hoodie? Oh yeah, we got Mogul Affiliates.
Yeah, which you wore to the wrestling show, I think.
Yeah,
right?
So that's nice. Which I mean, I didn't like that era for him, but I always loved Swerve. So
and I wore my FNS wrestling T-shirt, that one of the 3 that I got made, and I'm sure we're picking up a ton of listeners from that Indy Show.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
but Christmas was good. We
do have capabilities to make merch, although we probably will not
open gifts. I've actually started now looking at like things to make your own T-shirts, just because it's interesting to me.
It would be interesting,
like getting the equipment and just making them ourselves, sort of thing, with whatever graphic you want.
I like the one you have that's like a gray shirt with the black oaks. I like it's like
me too.
It's really muted.
Yes, I like that one. It's
like
my favorite, I think, so far.
Yeah.
We had some family over briefly Christmas Day. Your aunt was here. We, had some turkey and whatnot, did the usual stuff. And we're just sort of enjoying being on holidays for, I guess this is week 1 of 2. I was already down in Mike's Garage today to watch a bit of Canada playing hockey.
Wow, name drop.
The juniors lost. Mike's Garage is legendary to the people in FNS wrestling. It's my local haunt where I end up. I'm actually could be there right now, but I'm doing this instead. So, and then maybe tomorrow night they want to get together and have a dart tournament.
Tomorrow night is also as the time of recording, it's tomorrow night, but I guess at release time it'll be tonight. Is World's End, of course.
Yes, which
I guess is our last chance to get any match of the year candidates.
That's right.
Technically it'll apply. It'll be really weird, but second last day of the year, we could get some contenders. I don't think so.
Which reminds me, we do have the best stuff pretty much done and ready to go. Like there's only a couple categories I have
worst
left.
Stuff will be like probably the last thing, but best stuff is, I think for me, I'm ready to go for that. I think I'm just waiting on you.
Speaking of ready to go, this is like 10 minutes of banter for us.
Yeah, that's too much.
But I mean, to be fair, it's mostly wrestling,
that's
really,
too much talking.
Which is not what people want in the banter. The people that listen to the banter don't want wrestling, that I know.
The two of you.
Because it's all they listen to. They listen to us banter, and then they're like, oh God, they're talking about wrestling, and we're out.
Oh, I don't know what that is. And then they get out.
But so we will move into talking about some wrestling right about now, and we'll start out with what we thought was a pretty lean week in terms of wrestling news and rumors. So in ratings this week, did you hear the big news? It happened. Dynamite beat Raw, apparently.
Oh.
Well, because Raw didn't really run a show. So it's like
Oh yeah.
beating the team when they played all of their bench players, basically. So yeah, not
Reference
really,
understood.
not really anything of note, to be honest. But we do have the ratings. So NXT this week averaged 670,000, which is up 4.5%. Earned a 0.19 in the key demographic, up 11.8. We'll talk about the show later. It was headlined by Eddie Thorpe versus Dijak. Almost a Donovan Dijak to go back. Dijakovic.
Dominic Dijakovic, TR.
In the second ever NXT Underground match, right? Which you watched, so we'll talk about that when we get there.
Mid.
AEW Dynamite averaged 843,000 viewers this week, up 7.8%, and earned a 0.31 in the key demo, which is a good number for them, up 19.2%. It was I would say, wrestling in-ring action-packed show again, with the finals in the Continental Classic in each pool, right?
The league finals. And
I think each of those matches was over 20 minutes, so lots of in-ring on that show yet again. Good numbers for them. What do you have for us in this week of news? Nothing. You didn't have anything?
I could not.
I'll just rattle some off then. I watched ROH. I'll talk about it later, but what we do get, the Women's Television Championship is being done in a tournament, which I think you talked about last week.
I saw Billy Starks.
You talked about to me. So they didn't give a bracket yet, but we got 5 competitors. They all got a chance to give a little bit of a promo on ROH this week, despite there not being much on that show other than match. There is the odd, like, tiny little...
At least there's that.
They did each get a chance to say something here. So it's Billy Starks. More on her because she was on a match on the show, and I have thoughts. Rachel Ellering, who I've liked in the past. Layla Hirsch, who I like.
Yeah.
Kira Hogan and Lady Frost. So those were the first 5.
Top tier.
Sort of feels like just based off those 5, this is a showcase for Starks because for some reason...
Because she's got the Athena thing, I guess.
Right. But Athena, on the show this week, they had a segment, and Athena's like a heel and not... like kind of being nice to Starks, but not really, I think
it's because she's not going for her belt now.
Right.
It's like...
And that's her thing is I tried for years, I didn't get it, and now I'm going for another one. So now Athena's like fully supportive of her, I guess.
Right, because she's staying away from her belt and not a threat to her, even though I don't think she's a threat, period, but you know.
But it feels like somebody there that matters likes Billy Starks, so I feel like that's where this tournament...
it's a little weird to me. I don't really see it, but...
I didn't see much in the match she had this week, to be honest. I'll talk about it when we get there really quickly. But
did you watch the one she had with Athena?
I did not watch that one because that was the main event, right, of that show.
Yeah, which I thought was a weird choice.
I didn't watch it. So Sean Spears is gone from AEW. I don't know why it's included, but what's his age, do you think? Because it's included.
41.
Very close, 42.
Oh.
So he revealed on social media about his departure, and he said it was his decision, and he thanked the organization for 5 years of growth and development. No, there was neither growth nor development. Really,
there was development. He had a glove, and then
he did have a glove.
I like Sean Spears. I don't know. I thought the chairman thing had legs, pun intended.
Here's your impromptu quiz. When's the last time he wrestled for AEW?
Oh, it was Battle for the Belts, wasn't it?
Okay, so that's the second last time.
Damn. Okay, that's the best.
He lost to who at Battle of the Belts?
Luchasaurus.
Correct.
I know that.
He had one after that in a very, very multi-person match. I'll say that.
I don't know.
Over budget charity battle royal was his last appearance, apparently.
I would have liked him as TNT champion or something.
We don't dislike him. Where do you think he fits?
Impact.
I agree. TNA, you mean?
TNA.
Impact is dead, okay?
No, it's
exactly
not
what
2024 yet, but no, TNA is perfect for him.
Because he was... there's no chance on a roster as deep as AEW he's getting anything. He's not to that level. Like, he's...
Maybe now with 2 shows,
The Kiss of Death is the good hand, but he's a quality in-ring performer.
He was always good, like, in the factions when he was in, like, Pinnacle or whatever. That was
He has the ability to connect. He
can talk.
He can, and he's big.
Yeah,
like
the 10 thing was good.
He'll be big.
The perfect 10 things were a good thing to have. Or I always thought the chairman thing was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just like a maniac beating people with the chair would be kind of fun. So
and when he comes into TNA, he'll be a big guy. So if he wants to go heel, he'll be like...
I could see him as...
Because even when Cardona rolls in there, he's big, right?
I could see him as a champion in TNA,
I could too.
So I would hope he ends up there just because I always kind of liked him.
Good Canadian boy.
Yeah. That too.
So again, I texted you this and you said you don't think so, and then I sent you a screenshot of where it said so. So I don't know how mad to be, but
I'll say it after.
Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee, maybe on 0 Hour is what I saw.
I think not, because
which is, if so, I'm angry.
Well, here's the thing right now. So AEW. And so as a detail-oriented person, I'm looking at this. And so
I saw the graphic.
Here's so here's two things now, I guess. So we have where's down here. Okay, so we'll look at Hook and
I
Yuta.
saw that.
And
it specifically
says 0 hour right there, right?
On the
and
official
then
graphic.
You go down to Keith Lee and Swerve.
And it doesn't.
No. And then here's the thing that they posted with all of the main card matches. Note, Yuta and Hook are not here, and the Battle Royals are here.
Good.
The pre-show matches. So then the main card matches are all there. You can see Swerve and Keith Lee there.
Swerve, I know he's only facing...
Swerve would not be on a pre-show.
I know it's only Keith Lee, but Swerve on a pre-show is offensive at this point to me.
It's blasphemy. No,
I'm
almost positive he's not, because that would just be insane.
Two more things from the world of TNA. Looks like the Grizzled Young Veterans are going to debut at Hard to Kill, which you, I think, mentioned to me.
That's very cool.
It is cool. They're coming for the Impact Tag Team titles. I guess TNA Tag Team titles. Man, just when I wrap my head around saying Impact all the time, they switch it back on me. But anyways, so they became...
I would watch them versus ACB for sure.
They became free agents in October, requested their release in April, right? But that was denied, and they had to finish their contract. So they did. Again, I think they're a really good fit for TNA, right?
Yeah, I would like to see them in AEW just to bolster their division. I think they'd have better hopes than Sean Spears would, obviously.
They would.
But I think... if not AEW, Impact's a solid fit for them. TNA, whatever.
Because you've got ABC, the Rascals, Good Hands, and them. That would be 4 tag teams off the top of my head.
Moose and Myers.
And then whoever else they want to put together. Okay, so speaking of TNA, the only other thing I wanted to talk about, it was the Hard to Kill card, and you're going to sort of give me... I'll start at the bottom.
It's kind of questionable. I've seen some advertising. Like
your interest in the matches as we go, just quickly. Digital Media Champion Tommy Dreamer defends against Krazazi Steve. Krazazi.
I haven't seen much from Steve since
they
vignettes. They kind of dropped the ball because they already have a
rebooted
match.
him. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah,
and then they kind of went, "Oh, we're going TNA. Let's everything just in a holding pattern." And so I haven't seen him in forever.
I think, and he already had a match with Dreamer. So.
I liked what he was doing most recently, but I don't want Dreamer anywhere near anything I watch.
So I feel like he has to win here. But the Digital Media title is so lame. Like, I like them having 2 mid-card titles. I think 2 mid-card titles is always strong. Like Intercontinental US, and then AEW had TNT and International. Obviously now they're doing a third one, which is unnecessary.
Correct.
But I digress. 2 is always good, I think, right? If you have a solid size roster, which they do.
They do.
2 is good. They've always had the X Division. That's the thing with TNA. They've always struggled with the secondary title. Like the Legends Kingdom Mountain TV title that existed for a while. You know that one?
Yep. And then the TNA title was back.
They had like the Grand title.
Yes.
For a while, which I don't even know what that was. Anyways, the Digital Media title, I don't like the look of it. I don't like the name of it. It's just like... And clearly, you failed as a Digital Media title if your champion is Tommy Dreamer in 2023, 2024. Yep. So, I would hope Crazy Steve wins here. I'm not interested at all, but they need a new secondary belt other than the X Division title. They need just like something better. TV title? I don't know, like an actual
And
one.
Steve was cool and Dreamer's not, so make that switch.
Yeah.
A bit of a digression, but I watch random wrestling to fall asleep. I was watching the first ever TNA pay-per-view, which I think was
non-weekly or weekly?
2002.
Then weekly, yeah.
I don't know.
If it was 02, then yeah.
Oh, was it? It was interesting. There was a lot of stuff that you couldn't put on TV now. Their treatment of women was not strong. Like literally women dancing in cages as you, like on the entrance ramp. And
sounds like a Raw.
Next pre-show match. Eric Young and Kazarian versus Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. So
I'm surprised they wouldn't put that on the main
just
card.
Feels like...
I'm not saying because it's just like talent involved. They tend to just throw
all the veterans together, pair them off, and away we go.
They tend to do that on the main card anyway, so I'm surprised they had the sense to put it on the pre-show.
Swan and Macklin, what a free fall for Macklin. It's gone from company champion to on the pre-show in a pretty random match. Then you get on the actual show itself, it looks like GYV versus whoever, so that's interesting to me.
I'll watch that for GYV.
PCO Dirty Dango, not interesting at all.
I don't know why you do that.
Knockouts Ultimate X, don't know who's in it. That could be fun.
That could be all right.
X Division, Sabin defending against Kushida and Vikingo.
That looks good.
Yeah, that should be fun for sure. Trinity against Jordan Grace. Meh.
Nah.
Like Grace, Trinity kind of bores me.
Drop Jordan Grace on her ass.
Shelly versus Moose. I think Shelly retains, right? And it's not of high interest. Just again, they haven't like...
Is Osprey or caught on that one, or are they on the...
No, they're not
on the other one?
No.
They're
so
on
that
Snake Eyes.
And again, like they've hit the pause button like over a month ago. So the build for this stuff is not really existent. So it's kind of weird.
But anyways, very weird.
And I imagine some sort of surprises and whatever, as this is a full reboot of the show. So.
Signing someone, right? I feel like it has to be Okada.
I feel like
I don't know why
it's the TNA reboot, it would make sense for it to be Mercedes Moné because they're going to really focus on women again.
I've heard she's in talks with WWE. I don't know.
Depends.
I don't know, because
doing TNA means you're going back to X Division and the women being forefront, which I'm cool with.
I feel like that'll be part of it, but I feel like they'll still keep other stuff in the focus. Obviously,
they will, and I'm sure it still means experimenting with weird style of matches and stipulations,
six-head ring,
as they tend to do.
I feel like just because it's weird that Okada's coming back after the Okato experiment or Okata, sorry.
But now he's an established megastar. He can still go and work some New Japan dates. So
I don't know if he's gonna go to AEW. I don't think he needs to. I don't really want him to.
I think he kind of fits WWE better.
Yeah,
if they ever felt they could push a foreigner,
which is ridiculous. I just personally for me with him in AEW, it's like, he's great and all, but I've never loved him that much. Like, it's not like Switchblade or Ospreay from Japan, where I followed White decently as much as I could for a New Japan guy before he came. Ospreay, we've been catching a lot of in the past couple years before he came. And I mean, I guess they're gaijins, so that's part of it, but there's way more appeal for them than Okada. So Okada, I don't really care. Like, he could go to Impact, and I don't care. Like, I would have been disappointed if Ospreay signed with them. You know
Me too. But Okada, and sorry, when I say push foreigners, I don't really mean foreigners, because they have no problem pushing like Drew McIntyre and
Rey Mysterio even eventually,
and Gunther. But maybe it's visible minorities they have a problem with pushing. Possibly,
yeah, because they've never really full blown pushed a Japanese or. Well,
and it's certainly not for a lack of talent from Japanese wrestlers.
No, Nakamura should have been a champion multiple times over by now. And even Tajiri was always a comedy guy, or cruiserweight.
Tozawa is a joke.
Tozawa's a joke. Tozawa could do better.
He's really good. He could do way better.
Tozawa could do better.
I just like to say
Kushida was never even.
Vince
really
is a racist, and he's fine as long as the people from other countries look like him. Would be my theory only. Obviously,
Vince is mostly out of there at least.
Thank goodness. Okay, so. That ends news, I guess, and we'll move into our in-depth review each week, and that's taking a look at this past Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite. So I was definitely looking forward to Dynamite this week with the two final matches. And you want to shout out Ghost Jam now or later? You told me he's a genius.
I'll talk about it later, but yes, Ghost Jam is a genius.
He is. One of our regular listeners who corresponds with us through comments and whatnot. Probably one of our most loyal listeners, as far as I know.
I will give him credit later. He called it.
He did.
Well, it was probably before the semis.
He and I believe, I have no reason not before
the semis, before last week, I think.
And he's saying that he was sticking with his original prediction, which was correct. So from when it started, he said
genius.
This. He is.
But first, we have the Continental Classic Gold League final, or the semifinals of the tourney overall, but the Gold League final, which is Swerve Strickland versus Jay White versus Jon Moxley. For me, it's extremely difficult to have a better dream match than this on paper. In this day and age, these are three of my favorite guys all in the same match. It's really difficult to top this.
And what a great time to be a wrestling fan in terms of the depth of talent everywhere. There is super talented wrestlers everywhere. The problem with companies and shows and stuff is never the talent at this point, right? There's lots of amazing
even in
wrestlers.
WWE, it's just the style for me,
right?
But there's
it's
always
the style
guys
and the writing and
there's always guys I like there, and Impact's got some solid talent.
Yep.
New Japan's still kicking with some people,
Yep. So this is quite a group in this match.
This is pretty crazy. There's a lot of crowd brawling early on, which wasn't the best start to the things for me, but I thought it was a minor hiccup in the road. Or a bump in the road. Yeah, it's just, if I was going to nitpick it, but since you brought it up, I'll do it here. I'm not a big crowd brawling fan in general, and you have arguably three super elite wrestlers, so this is basically, why are you taking time away from them? To handicap them.
You have them for several minutes doing stuff anyone can do.
Yeah.
I guess is my point. When they can do stuff other people can't, and that should be the focus. But
that was kind of how I felt. But yeah, I feel like it
minor.
ended up being a minor enough
for
thing,
sure,
right? It was just kind of the start.
They got it out of the way right away, and then it was things picked up.
In the crowd, Swerve sat Mox on a chair and he had a running knee at him, which I thought was kind of cool. Later on, White hit that suplex into the turnbuckles to Swerve for a 2 count. Swerve hit a frog splash kind of cross body to the outside to both of them. Mox hit Swerve with a pile driver for 2, and then he went right into the hammer and anvil elbows. Mox caught Swerve midair and hit a paradigm shift for 2, which it's one of those things where I don't know what Swerve is going for there. But
yeah, that was when we were joking that he was chop blocking his knee from the front. He was trying
to flying headbutt to the kneecap or something. Yeah. Mox went to pile drive Swerve through the timekeeper's table, but White came in from behind him with the chair, and then he hit him again in the knee. Which and at this point, commentary just threw me for a loop. They're like, it's no disqualifications, and I was like, what?
Right.
It's like, what?
It's crazy.
And then they also said the apron's the hardest part of the ring.
No, can't be true. All the tropes.
And they don't have to be factored in the decision. That's ridiculous. House call to White, which is always beautiful. 450 splash to White from Swerve. Mox broke the pin with the curb stomp, which I thought that was cool, but I didn't like the way Swerve pinned him because it was kind of like, you're complaining with Riho whenever Swerve did that, which I noticed, which I was a little but at least the curb stomp's cooler than bridging out.
And technically, after the stomp, he was still in contact.
So he could have
been still keeping counting.
Nitpicks there. Mox had White in a sleeper hold, and Swerve broke it with the house call, which I thought was a lot better than the curb stomp bit. Swerve got clocked with the Larry from Mox. That looked awesome. And then he immediately ate a Blade Runner, and Swerve barely made the save on the pinfall at the last second. King Kong Lariat, which looked awesome again, and a Death Rider to Switchblade, and Mox picks up the win in this one.
Yeah, this was just under 24 minutes, so really, really long TV match. Awesome TV match. Nitpicking the crowd brawling, and the only other thing that I would nitpick is there's a large chunk where it was one-on-one, and then
I've also felt like it was a lot of the rotating one-on-one,
which we've already seen these matches in a tournament, and I was hoping that they would do a lot of 3, which they did get all 3 of them involved for the last few minutes, which I think was the best part of this. And I'm not I sound like I didn't like this match. I thought this match was pretty awesome, but I had even higher expectations, so it ended up being really good, but not exceptional. Really good opener, great final few minutes, and an awesome match. But I was hoping for a absolute gangbusters. Yeah,
I agree. I thought it was really good, but fell slightly short of expectations, which might possibly be on me because, again, 3 of my favorites right now. But I'm glad this was the league final. Like I said, it was this is the dream match of the tournament, and any other matches between any pair of these guys were the ones I was looking forward to most. Getting Swerve Switchblade, Swerve Mox Switchblade were the things I was waiting for. Immediately when I saw the lineup for the tournament, I was like, oh, these 3 guys are in the same block. So this was always the goal for me. I did feel like you said there's a lot of the rotating one-on-one here, but I thought the action was good enough for me to kind of put that aside.
It was.
I like that White kept going back to the knee of Moxie that he targeted last week. I like that continued to be a thing. And I think Mox sold it really well. I like there was some near falls that were really good for all of them. And this really could have gone either way. I think it makes sense for Moxie to win. I'm not surprised. I'm just a little disappointed that because I was pulling for one of my boys that needed it more. Moxie's always been my favorite forever. So it's another thing for him at least. And whether it's Danielson or Eddie, we have a really good final for him because he's got history with both of them. So I think that'll work either way. Yeah,
it was a really good match, good opener. I put a couple notes here. Jack notices knee pads. How? Go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, Switchblade switched his knee pads.
And you were
on the other knees. Yeah, usually he's got because he's got the tally mark logos on the one on his right leg, and then he's got the same logo on his knee pad and the Switchblade on his boot. But then the word Switchblade, not an actual one. He's got tactic. And his left knee pad says BC era, but then he switched the knee pads, and I was like, what?
Crazy.
It was like when Moxley wore kick pads last week. He wore boots this week, by the way. Anywho, that's just
a detail you noticed that I made a note of.
Me being silly and funny like that. Then we get a Danielson Kingston package, and there's highlights of each of their tournament runs and then some brief words for both of them. The main thing was Danielson has called Eddie a bum, and Eddie's never beaten him, and Danielson's just constantly putting him down. And Eddie said he's proud of that, and he's the king of the bums and the underdogs, and he'll beat Danielson and win the whole thing. I thought it was a nice little package to hype this final. It should be great, no doubt. I haven't seen his matches on Collision, but I've been following Eddie's post-match promos because they've been putting up on
He's
Instagram.
amazing.
I gotta show you the one that he put, I think, after winning the final, because man, he's fantastic.
He is.
As we should say, he's super real, and you can tell he's always got a bit of truth and something genuine to say. And the passion he has for pro wrestling is so clear to see, especially in this tournament. Like, this dude just loves this, and it's really heartwarming to see. Sometimes it's just he's amazing. It's clear he's gonna face Mox in the finals, which wasn't my initial choice, but it's also not a choice you can really complain about.
No, not at all.
I've said it ever since they had the feud in 2020. They had the tag run, remember, against the Bucks in 2021. Mox and Eddie are just magic together. Yeah, I
remember something.
Mox and Eddie are just magic together, so I'm not going to complain if that's the case.
No, and is this where Eddie said something about I hate myself more than any? Like,
no, that was later.
Oh,
but
and you're just like,
he's so good though.
He
Honestly,
is so
like
convinced. Both of them are super convincing, right? So
I've always really liked Eddie, but I think this tournament's really making me appreciate him more because he's so good.
I was thinking about it today. The ultimate superlative I can give for wrestler is for me, the top level is to say they're special, either in some area or overall. And in terms of like connecting with the crowd and feeling real, he's special.
He is
right?
special. He's just like super real, and you can empathize with him super easily.
And that allows him to do what he does without the physique he's supposed to have, quote unquote.
No, he doesn't have a good physique at all.
For being a wrestler,
really
but it almost plays into that. He's every man, and he has doubts about himself.
Yeah, because then when Danson calls him a bum, the way he looks, it rolls with that, right?
He's so good.
He's amazing. Yep. He is special. That's a good way to put it. And we'll see more of him later, which is good.
We will.
I definitely got to show you his post match promo because it's
feel
special.
What he wants you to feel.
Yeah.
Right? And that's super rare.
He was good as a heel, but I think him as this everyman babyface is just slice of heaven.
He's amazing.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then we get an interview with Swerve Strickland. It's pretty much like right after the match. Like, he's still sweaty, he's still tired and whatever. He's getting interviewed by Shivani, and Nana's there as well. He was talking about how bad he wanted it. He wanted it so bad. He said he meant it when this tournament brought life back into his business, which I would agree with. It brought life back into their TV for sure. Swerve said he didn't get pinned. Jay White got pinned, which is good, and also dissing my boy.
Fair.
So I didn't like that. And he talked about Keith Lee looking for him because Keith Lee's been saying things on Collision. He said if Keith Lee wants him, then now he obviously doesn't have a match at World's End. And Shivani said Keith Lee already had a contract for him, and Nana was talking about how he didn't approve it. Swerve said we'll see if he shows up on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward transition, right, for Swerve to go from what he has been doing with death matches and then his run in this tournament to facing Keith Lee.
Yeah, I feel like they could have built this better if it was no tournament, because I feel like they did this. It's a similar thing with Miro and Andrade, because Miro's been free, but Andrade was busy in the C2, right?
So Swerve did a good job with what he was given, and I assume he defeats Keith Lee decisively. He better.
He has to.
And then I think he's not done with Hangman, right?
I think he is, but it's like a thing you can revisit. It's one of those feuds I think they can just pick up when they want to. So I think he definitely is for the time being, but I feel like when one of them wins the title again, you pick it back up.
I think he's the guy to take it from MJF.
Either that, or I'd like Hangman as like a bridge champion or something.
Because you have to... Swerve is like basically a babyface somehow. Like...
He's the heel that you gotta love,
and he's not leaning into the supervillain stuff anymore.
I feel like he will now, because I feel like in the tournament it's hard to. I really need him to, because supervillain Swerve is the money.
It is, but yeah, he did well here. I just think it's an awkward shift to like mid card.
Little bit for sure, but he'll make it work for me. Post-match Angry Swerve was great. I liked him more because I also badly wanted it for him. And while I'm not a huge fan of a feud opposite Keith Lee, because Swerve feels like he's elevated himself so high, while Lee hasn't had that same opportunity.
True.
And that's no hate against Lee. I've always loved Keith Lee. I think he's great.
He's good.
Especially when he can showcase what makes him special.
Yes.
Then he's really great. But just... I think his whole AEW run, they haven't really known what to do with him. I think the Swerve in Our Glory team was his peak, whereas Swerve that was just his beginning. I think Swerve, especially with the death match and the Hangman feud, even the C2 run he had.
And I just feel like they hit the he's a big monster, he's a big monster. Don't draw our attention to that. Just let him wrestle.
Yeah.
And then we notice, holy crap.
He can do moonsaults and crap.
Right. It's not about him being a big, huge dude.
So I just feel like it is beneath Swerve, but it's also unfinished.
It is.
I think, because remember, it came out that Tony Khan was planning to do this match at Double or Nothing, and then it just never happened. And so I will take a banger from these two if Swerve can't have the Continental Classic win.
Yep.
As long as it's a short thing that benefits Swerve, and Swerve needs to come out on top because
I
he's
agree.
on the up and up, and Keith Lee, it's like
He doesn't need a win
he
right now.
doesn't like no. It's just
Swerve can't lose.
It's one
right
of those
now.
things where it's just gonna hurt Swerve,
Right.
If anything,
He can't come off not winning this triple threat, even though he wasn't pinned, and lose to Keith Lee.
Yeah, he needs to win here.
I will be furious.
Swerve can sell this for me though. I trust him.
Yep.
Then we get Renee interviewing Mariah May on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
She said last week attacking Riho, she was just supporting the greatest star of our time, Miss Toni Storm, blah, blah, blah. She said she didn't feel like 2023 had enough energy. She was going to debut on the first time of the next year. Then she pushed Renee out of the way to pose. Riho made her entrance, and Mariah May ran down to the ring because that's safe, I guess.
Is she keep putting off her debut, or is it the same? Because she keeps talking about it.
Yeah, it's been like at least a couple weeks of this.
So
I don't know.
I guess I'm happy they're putting some energy into her, and she seems to have
At least they're putting
charisma.
some. I'm like that they've actually confirmed it. Yeah, and then Storm came out to go after Riho. Riho tripped her. Storm left. Riho jumped onto them. Riho posted the belt.
Oh, I forgot Riho was all the stuff in the ring.
She got a surprisingly strong reaction.
Yeah, I assumed Riho loses, and eventually it's going to be May and Storm, I think, right? At some point. But I just don't care a ton.
I don't care enough to like even like honestly, Mariah May versus Toni Storm did not cross my mind until you said it because I don't. Really
it just
care.
feels like that's where it has to.
I guess I honestly didn't give enough.
You can't have two people stay together. You know that's impossible. They have to have problems.
Yeah, this is fine. I don't think Mariah said much of consequence. I thought her delivery was fine, but just I don't really care.
I don't know what this moved forward or anything. It was just
it confirms
her
debut.
TV.
It confirms her debut, and
right? That's all she seems to be
fine.
saying is I'm wrestling.
I'm gonna
soon.
debut. You can watch me wrestle next year because
it
this
feels
year
like
sucks,
all red everything. Was that her that did that? Who was coming back and coming back?
No, was that
who was it? Is it Emma? Emmalina? Yeah, that
was awesome. Well, even Marie had a similar thing. It was like she would always be about to wrestle, and then she had like the wardrobe
call her all red everything.
or all red everything. Okay,
it's like the Prince of Oshawa. Those are their proper names.
That's true, Prince of Oshawa. We love him. And then what was it? Remember Veer Mahan had like Veer is coming for months on end, and then he debuted and it was just like lame.
Nothing.
And then now he's back in the Indy Show, and now they're doing nothing. Like it's just poor Veer.
But we are gonna get AOP supporting.
That's a horrible faction.
What's his face? Your boy Cross.
Hey, he's your boy too.
He is. He's everybody's boy.
So, sorry. Back to this. Mariah May looks a little goofy running from Riho, who didn't even have a weapon handy. Like, not to be like that, but like Riho's just not intimidating.
No.
Like, and we say this like it's just like. I wouldn't run from Riho. No one. It's almost as bad as running from Sting. But Sting at least has a baseball bat. Which why am I defending Sting now? This is horrible.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then Storm also got one up by Riho, so similar thing for her. This is okay, I guess.
Sure.
I really didn't accomplish much, and I don't care about this feud regardless.
Nope. I agree. I wish I did, but I don't.
I don't even know if I wish I did.
I always wish I cared about things. It'd be a lot more fun. I'd enjoy it a lot more if I was like, yes, Riho, Toni Storm. This is going to be amazing.
Mariah May's debuting next week. Like
appointment TV.
I guess if you put it like that, it would be more fun. I guess.
But I'm not like that.
Next we get a promo from Top Flight and Action Andretti. They were talking about how they came up short against the Acclaimed and Trios championship match, I think, but there are other trios they can challenge. And Orange Cassidy comes in, he was just like, okay, I get it, and we'll see you on Friday. And him and Trent left, and Rocky, who said Orange did the same thing to him last week. This amused me on a couple fronts, actually. So I'll say this, even though it was small and really didn't do much, it over-delivered for me just because it amused me. Cassie's new thing of assuming everyone's coming for him as soon as they mention a challenge in his general vicinity is really funny. And maybe it's the outcome of a heel turn, or you were saying he's so obsessed with this title, he's taking challenges he shouldn't, which I like that idea.
Right, he's taking so used to during his international just
where
fighting
everyone
anyone
did want
anytime.
him. Yeah, now he took a challenge from Rocky for no reason.
Yeah,
he's taking this match for no reason. That was funny. And then at the end, Action Andretti just speed chugged a water bottle, which was so random that it amused me.
Fast as you could pour it down.
It's like
a drain.
the thing where people have the plastic water bottle and you put up and then you're crushing it as
That's
you're cutting
what he
it.
did.
So it's it's that, and it was just like it was so random that it made me laugh. 'Cause it's like I don't know why he did that.
So I told you, John and Wei were talking about it's the most memorable thing he's done since Beat Jericho.
It honestly
pretty
is.
much.
Yeah,
this made me laugh too. And the whole, if they're doing something with the whole, like, he's obsessed with open challenges and he perceives everything as a personal challenge, that's kind of interesting.
Just have him wrestling on Dynamite more. I miss Orange Cassidy. He was like one of my favorite things this year.
He'll come up in our best of for sure.
Absolutely, he deserves it. And then we get a quick Miro promo. He was talking about how he's done avoiding people to appease his wife. He said he didn't want to face Andrade because he is his wife's client. He wants to face him because he's an asshole. And
you missed an important segment right before this. Christian's tired of waiting for Edge.
Oh, he's just,
and then it went into a commercial.
I enjoyed the promo from Miro. A couple lines amused me. He's always cool with the Redeemer stick. It's just, I'm not sure what the angle for him with Lana is, and I'm not super invested. I saw some people say it might be like he doesn't want her working. It's like, and if it's like he wants her to be a stay-at-home wife, that's not a good angle to have. You know what I mean?
And wasn't he
so
saying...
like, I don't know if it's that or if it's something else, but it's just, I don't understand what it is.
And I think Miro was basically like, I won't go after Andrade until the tournament's done, so that's fine. But like, is he, like, it sounds like he's basically saying that his wife was holding him back and now he's free and will fight anyone and kill anyone. But like, why would she have stopped him from fighting people? Could I have some specific examples?
I really
feels
don't.
Kind of lazy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
You stopped me from doing what? Did we see that?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what the angle is here, right? So I'm not hating on it per se. I just don't understand what this is. So
I need some evidence that she stopped you from doing stuff more than you just saying she stopped me from doing stuff. Because I don't remember her stopping you from doing anything.
I don't even know. I just need to understand what the gripe is here. Because obviously she's your wife, so you love her in theory. But then it's like, what? I don't know. It's confusing.
It is. It was confusing. I'm not quite sure what any of it meant. So I could put in my first sound effect. Oh no, I can't. Sorry.
No, you can't.
I would. It's gonna. I have one that I like, but because I haven't paid for it, the ad is running right now. Because I now know how I can add sound effects to our podcast, which might just annoy people immensely. But I got the. You won't hear them because you don't have headphones on.
That's true.
But I will. Just know that they're happening.
Next, we had the Don Callis family Boxing Week celebration, which I was really happy about because Don Callis and the boys are back on Dynamite, which is great. I love the C2, but I feel like it was part of why. Oh, you have the same soundboard as me. The absence of these guys have been sorely missed for me because I thought they were really on a roll in the late summer, early fall,
and then it was tournaments here. Pause.
Yeah, even before that, I feel like their presence slipped, but I really like them as a group. I like everyone in the crews. So I'm really happy they're back. And Fletcher looks awesome in the black suit with the new belt.
He did look cool. And surprisingly bigger than all of them.
He's the tallest one there.
Significantly.
Which I hope that's like just like fake or something because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Best quote from Excalibur was, couldn't Don Callis just do this in a dark room by himself?
Right.
Which that was awesome.
Because there's 4 easels up there covered up, right? As Callis is there with Tony.
And Callis is like talking, and then Excalibur's just like, couldn't Don Callis do this in a dark room by himself?
Him.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things about Excalibur is he calls moves for us, and then sorry, randomly just when it's like a heel like him or MJF or something, he just says these such hateful things, and it's so funny. And one thing was the boos were still there. I really missed the nuclear heat that Callis garners. He
Not
still got
quite as nuclear as before, but
it felt like the same
significant.
Same old.
You're still sick, eh?
I'm not sick. It's just like that
the
dry
lingering
cough, kind of.
Yeah.
I've noticed sometimes it's like that loud cough that you usually have.
I do usually have that.
Don noted that there was some family stuff outside the wrestling business, and it's been a difficult 2 weeks for him. I don't know if that's something legit or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was.
He said he's celebrating Boxing Week here with gifts. There's a poster, or sorry, the painting he gave to Hobbs, which is like Hobbs is like a street thug, and like Callis is
stereotypical.
Yeah, like
for all of them,
thug. Yeah, and then Callis is like in this thug gear too, and he's got like abs, which that made me laugh a lot. That was really funny, just because it's very Callis. And then there was one with Takeshi and Callis where it's like Callis is like these tattoos on his chest, and then Takesha's looking all samurai with like a katana, whatever. That was really funny too, because like Callis again is just ripped with like these like, I don't know if it's like tribal tattoos or something like that, right? And then he had one with Fletcher, which is them fighting kangaroos,
boxing kangaroos.
Yeah, which that was awesome too. So these are all awesome. I got a great chuckle out of those. Then Sammy Guevara came back.
As soon as he comes out, and you had already been spoiled on it, so as soon as he walks out,
he's coming out in his vest, and he's because
and I knew where it was going.
When he turned heel, the first promo we had with Callis, he was like in this nice shirt and he had sunglasses and his hair is all you can tell the difference between him.
Yes.
Like he comes out and just you can look at him, you can tell he's not a heel anymore, which was red flags already up.
So as soon as he walked out, I said to you, I started typing my notes, poor Sammy, forever destined to stay tethered to Jericho's side. As soon as Sammy's music hit, I'm like, oh my God, he's out and he's joining Jericho. This is awful.
Yeah, that's horrible. Him and Ty Conti had their baby recently.
Makes you a baby face. Having a baby, instant baby face.
It puts the baby in baby face.
That's it.
Cal said it's like Christmas all over again. Sammy put his hand on the mic to shut him up. He said, long time no talk. Callis asked me if he got the gift for the kids. Sammy said no. Callis mentioned Sammy hasn't shown up to work in 2 months. True. Callis said he had a painting for Sammy too, and it was, I think, all of them and then Sammy holding the baby. And Sammy got all mad about that. He's like, who told you to put my baby in that?
That's dumb.
Like, it's not like anything derogatory towards the baby.
It's literally
it's nothing
you
like
holding your baby.
Yeah.
The other people in it.
With the other people in your group, in
so
theory.
I don't know why that would be a hot button.
Yeah, that wasn't weird. The thing that amused me was Callis saying Sammy isn't mentally capable of being a parent. I got with the concussion and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Sammy talked about Hobbs beating Jericho and Takeshita beating Omega twice, but people don't remember it because Callis made everything about him. Untrue, because Takeshita's match was awesome. Sammy said he had people asking him how he was doing when he was concussed, and Don didn't call him once. Cal said he was disappointed that Sammy dropped the ball when he got hurt, and he ripped on Sammy for being hurt, having babies, and being on maternity leave. Or isn't paternity leave?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's wrong. Cal suggested the Sammy choose the other family or the Don Callis family, which such a smart move, Don. You just genius.
Like they want him out, basically, at that point. If you're giving him that ultimatum,
it's basically
you know what he's going to pick.
Giving him that ultimatum was the same thing as Callis assuming Jericho was out. Remember with the painting, which we didn't like that, by the way. Callis told Sammy to think about it, so he's not a failure as a wrestler, like he's about to be as a parent. Oh, good move. Like, it's like Callis isn't even trying to keep him in.
I don't think he is, and I'm hoping that's on purpose. It's like, we don't want you in here, so...
I would hope so, I guess, yeah.
Or else he's terrible at leadership, right?
Yeah. Don Callis' family guys attacked him. Jericho made the save with the baseball bat. The heels left. Bill and Starks attacked Jericho and Guevara. Lights went out, and Sting and Darby appear. Heels get taken out. I also typed that the stereotypical paintings from Don were absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Then more happens.
Was really
Sting and Darby Allin?
I just said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. And Darby had a weird pink jacket. This started out really great. Because I was happy to see Callis back, and he still is entertaining as always. The paintings were fantastic and hilarious, so that was awesome. We started out really strong. I'd like to get that out of the way, get the positives out of here. Red flags immediately went up when Sammy came back in his vest with no heelish mannerisms in sight. Painting was amusing, and then all of a sudden Sammy's a babyface again. It's strange to me, but I think I put it great here. I guess the most fitting way for Sammy to end 2023 is for us to be confused about his alignment again. In this entire year, he's been heel and Jazz, then he was starting to pull away from Jericho, but then they just stopped it because there's the thing with Garcia, and then and then Jazz and Jericho had issues, but then he's still with Jericho. Then they had issues, and he turned on Jericho, and now he's back with Jericho.
And people hated him and his wife together, and that flipped them.
But then now this, like, now he has a baby. I don't know. The note calling thing works, I guess, but it feels like a cop-out excuse because we need Guevara to ally with Jericho.
I have the "you didn't call me" trope is one I am quickly tiring of.
Because, well,
it's so easy.
It is, but I think it worked really well with AR Fox and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
I think they did a good once this year. I don't think it needed, like, especially because here it felt Guevara turning on him was unnecessary. I feel like Fox turning on Darby worked and him joining with Swerve worked. This is just like, why is Guevara back with him? Yes. I could not be less interested in a reunion of him and Jericho because I thought him and the Callis family was actually a good fit. I thought that benefited him is finally something different. Then they decided to treat me and threw Sting into the mix for good measure. So it's a name and tag at the pay-per-view, which I'm not a big fan of on paper, but everyone besides Sting and Jericho, maybe Big Bill, are good in the ring, so here's hoping. If nothing else, I'll like this match because it prevents Jericho from having a title shot.
This was, they really jammed a lot of stuff in here, and I didn't really care for most of it. No. Again, I was happy to see
the first stretch was
Callis'
the best
group
part.
Back, but the stuff with Sammy is just, like, poor Sammy. So far, nobody's gotten anything from being under Jericho's wing,
I think
right?
especially as a pillar, it's affecting him really hard because he's this one of the pillars of the company. I think that's fair because he's this young guy who you could build something around because he's really talented in the ring. I think when he's got the right character, when
he's way better as a heel.
When he's like a douchebag heel, he's great. But like you said, he's just tethered to Jericho. I think eventually it's hurting him now, but I think eventually it's going to really start hurting his long-term career because every time he starts getting going on something, he's going to get pulled back here until Jericho retires.
Needs something to do. He wants to work with you, and nobody can say no.
Right. Like, it's definitely hurting him, I think.
He is flipping too much. It's Kane or Big Show of AEW,
Big Show,
right?
It's Big Show. Big Show does that.
And for me, like, I'm not a huge fan of Big Bill and Starks, but they sort of
look like
saved this a little bit coming in because it was at least they came in, beat these guys down. But then again,
I like Starks especially.
You had to have Sting, like, just kept going, and so this happens, then this happens, then these guys run, and then
why would Sting and what is their stake in this?
It's frantic go home show getting stuff organized. It felt like
this
to
is
me.
strange to me. I
wasn't a huge fan.
No, definitely not. Then we got a Roddy Strong interview. Running Kingdom have one of those boards with like the strings and pictures on it.
I put Breezango Light. Remember they used to do this? What was that called?
I love that. Fashion Files.
Right.
Fashion Files is awesome.
That's what it felt like.
I love Fashion
Files. But not as good.
No,
nowhere near as good.
No. As much as Roddy is amusing. It's basically saying Max is the devil. The shout out to Captain Sean Dean was funny though. This was a little silly though.
And they're running out of things to do with this group. Like,
no, Roddy started out really good, and it's just like...
And it's just like now they're squeezing every drop out of the Roddy in a neck brace saying people's names, and it's just like gratuitous now.
Yeah.
And you literally have nothing for Bennett and Taven
shift
other than maybe winning the tag titles, possibly. We'll see if that's them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This is just like, hey, I think people still like what Roddy's doing. Give him a segment.
Yeah, this was unnecessary.
I thought so.
And then we get Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson in the Continental Classic Blue League.
Much more necessary.
Second Blue League match on Dynamite, and the last one.
Okay, can we talk about this not being the main event? Or
can we
opener?
We talk about either of them not being the main event?
But I guess we'll have to wait till we get to the main event so we can talk about
that. Especially for me, I was offended that they opened. I guess that's the next best spot, but just those three guys, I love them dearly.
And even this match, like...
No, this match definitely deserved a main event, if not the other one.
Yes, either one.
Absolutely. Saito suplex from Kingston.
Doomsday. How dare you?
Yeah, I know you're going to do it.
You love that every time. It's like your stupid Brock Lock. Take Brock that. Lock. It's the same.
But it's actually a Brock Lock.
It's actually a Doomsday.
No, it's not.
Karrion Kross has mastered it. It's like Takeshita who wrote his whatever... He wrote a university thesis on the German suplex, I think.
Was that him? Did he actually?
Karrion Kross, I think so.
No, he did not. Or sorry, Kross did not. Then Kingston had a suicide dive after Danielson rolled out of the ring. DT on the apron from Danielson, which is solid. Danielson had he was taunting Eddie as he kicked him in the chest repeatedly, the so-called yes kicks. Danielson locked Eddie in the label lock, but Eddie eventually got a rope break. Danielson was kicking Eddie in the Tree of Woe, and he followed with the basement dropkick in the corner after Eddie had fallen. Eddie countered an avalanche back suplex into a cross by landing on Danielson's face, which looked pretty good. There was a heavy chop exchange, which was also very good. Repeated chops from Eddie, and then Danielson caught one, hit a Regalplex to Eddie for 2, which was really nice.
It was.
Busaiko knee for 2, which was good. Hammer and anvil elbows followed by Request Tom from Danielson, which was... Those just look so... He just
selling
hits them so
by
hard,
Eddie, like he looked like he was just
Eddie looks so
out of it.
Dead, but then he finally flipped him off, like he's just lying on the ground.
Defiant.
Just, that was awesome.
Takeshita wrote his college graduation thesis on the mechanics of a German suplex. It was 20 pages long and he got an A.
How do you write 20 pages on a German suplex?
I don't know.
That amazes me.
I had to look it up.
Eddie hit a pair of Hurricanes and the... What was it? The Misawa powerbomb?
Yes.
Or was it Misawa?
I think so, yeah.
Powerbomb to pick up the win. So Eddie picks up the win, finally beats Danielson, gets to the finals. Moxley walks down to speak. He said all he's ever asked of Eddie is to give him 100%. He said that for a guy who thinks the whole world's against him, Eddie has a lot of people who love him.
Right?
Myself
Classic
included.
Mox putting over his opponent,
yep.
Which I love.
Moxley said everybody loves Eddie Kingston. He said they don't care if he wins or loses. Mox said that they deserve his maximum effort. That being Eddie, obviously. Mox said that he knows Kingston better than Eddie knows himself. He said that Eddie has already lost. So he says he knows he can beat him, and Eddie knows he can beat him.
Yeah.
So Eddie's already lost. He said a couple years ago he let Eddie die a warrior's death because he wanted Eddie to come back stronger, which I don't know if that's referring to the I Quit match or something else. I would assume it's referring to the I Quit match.
Could be.
But Moxley said if Eddie wants to be a Triple Crown champion like his heroes, which is a good callback because Eddie's a fan of that stuff.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to earn
all
every
Japan
inch of it.
stuff, right?
Yeah. Eddie told Moxley not to treat him like his young boy Yuta, which I thought that
Eddie
was a good way to
rips
start.
the mic from him. Was like, "You've talked enough." It was
That
awesome.
was good.
Yeah.
Eddie said he's broken. He broke him before Mox, and Mox was lucky that Eddie let him live. Eddie said he's gonna push Mox, and he said when he almost quit AEW, Mox wouldn't let him because he said they need guys like Eddie to shape the young guys, which I could see that being true actually. Eddie said he's gonna bust him. He's gonna enjoy it. He said that was his outline, so his music played.
Yeah. Was that like that's my outline, like the way they do promos in AEW?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a little like behind the curtain sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is where he was like, I hate myself more than
it's just like, and that's where we're just like, oh, Eddie, come on, man. But he's just like this. He's vulnerable
so
pro wrestler, and nobody really does that.
He's the only person more vulnerable than Hangman.
Right. I love this version of Danielson in this match. Just the one that's like just trying to hurt you, right? And he has a million ways to do it, and everything looks awesome. And then Eddie as like the underdog. This is his forte.
I loved it
because
I agree Danielson is great as a heel, and Eddie's just one of the best and realest sympathetic baby faces around. So it's just a perfect match.
So an awesome slugfest, and just like looking back, this tournament was so well planned and executed. It's set the bar really high, right, for this to come back every year. Like just the stories within the tournament, the stories coming out of it, and like the way they planned who was winning and losing and the points was all.
They did it really perfect, yeah. Because there's like we even saw that mini story in the Garcia Danielson match.
It's not an easy thing to do.
There's the story of Lethal losing and kind of trying to get more serious, which is similar to what Garcia did, but still great. Like a little thing with Briscoe.
Eddie starting out slow and putting all his belts
Eddie
on the line.
losing a couple times, and like he came to regret it, right? We saw that promo and he was like second guessing that decision, right? And there's
Danielson having his like wrestling with one eye and having people target it nonstop, and just like
you had obviously Blackpool fighting with Claudio and Danielson. Like Moxley and Swerve had a nice little promo before their match. It's just like there's so many little bits in this tournament that was just well done.
This tournament really spoiled us, and I think this is an awesome
the bar is
match.
set really high for sure.
The crowd really got behind this, and so the job Eddie did, just a little thing immediately after winning the match, like the emotion that gets overlooked, right? The emotion that he can convey without saying anything and so quickly, like there's only a handful of people who can do that in wrestling and probably any other sort of thing, like so quickly and convincingly, right? He doesn't have the physique that promoters want, but it's all the other stuff that he's so much better than everybody else.
That definitely gets overlooked.
And just hooks you, like the fans just gravitate to this guy. He is just one of us, right? Like he's a flawed human being. He's not perfect. He looks relatable, right? He looks like your neighbor or your uncle or whatever. And he's just a relatable baby face, and he's awesome. And then the interaction after, I was captivated by that too. It makes everything feel bigger than even just this tournament, right? These guys are friends that battle each other and blah blah blah, the whole story between them. I thought the match and the aftermath was awesome. So, and the final should be great.
Yeah, I thought this was amazing. Really great TV match. I thought the story of Danielson's constant disdain and disrespect towards Eddie, Eddie never having beating him, it made this a great feel good win. Yeah, like he never beat Claudio, he beat him. He never beat Danielson, beat him. He's never beaten Mox. He could do that as well.
And we talked about it in the moment. I'm confident that Danielson's the type of guy that is super excited to lose to Eddie here and is like, listen, man, this is where you finally get your win, and let's go out and kill it. Like, I can totally...
Danielson was loving this.
He's such a giving guy, and it's his last year of wrestling, which is upsetting to say, but like, he's here to legitimately help elevate people and do good stuff.
What Punk said he was going to do is what Danielson does. And Moxley, to his credit as well. Moxley and Danielson are true professionals, and they're great. And I've seen people say, like, this is... I think the story of the Continental Classic is Eddie beating the aces of the company. He's beaten Danielson, and now Moxley is like arguably the ace of the company.
And I think Eddie wins.
And I think Eddie has to. And credit to Ghost Jam, he called this final, which again, not my first pick just because I wanted Swerve or Switch to win.
But it makes a lot of sense.
I do think it is a perfect idea. It makes total sense. The crowd reacted great to Eddie's win, which I thought was really heartwarming. Eddie looked awesome taking the absolute beating. Like, he looked dead at times, just taking an absolute kicking. And Danielson's offense looks brutal. Obviously, he looks like he's just out to hurt him, which was awesome. Eddie dished out some hard chops too, though. Like I said before, it wasn't my first choice, but like, Mox and Eddie's guaranteed to be great. It's guaranteed to be an epic, and they can sell me on a match or feud in less than a week with ease, which they had to do here. Always been a fan of what these guys do when they're in program together, whether it's aligned or not, and this is looking to be no different. Mox's promo was great as well. I love that interaction. It was the great mix of this, like, that odd brotherly love they had, but Moxley's also just so condescending and down talking to him, because, like, you can tell, like, he loves Eddie and they're like these best friends, but because they fight, you can tell Moxley knows he's better than Eddie, and he tells him that.
And because Mox is such a competitor, he will bring that up, right? He wants to win, so he's like,
I'm going to provoke Eddie with that.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
Exactly. Yeah,
even though I love you.
Eddie came back fired up. The young boy reply was amusing, and Eddie's he's just a gem. That's all I can put it as. I don't know what else to say. His passion and the love for this sport, or whatever you want to call it, is incredibly endearing. And the one, I think that the C2 has truly spoiled us with the storylines in here and the matches, but I think one thing I've ended up loving about the tournament, besides the weeks of great matches we've gotten, is just I think it's really getting me to love and appreciate Eddie more than I have before, just because seeing these promos and the character work that he does week to week is just incredible. So he's really great, and to see him doing more of this it's really fun.
And this feels so realistic and awesome, which is what I love in pro wrestling. And that's why the way this show ends is such a stark contrast to this stuff.
Yeah. This is like, what the stuff I like. And this is like stuff like this and the Elite Hangman saga.
And then we get into stuff I don't like later.
Yeah. I don't mind like the kind of stuff that is later in the show, but it's like, you can't go too far.
Yeah. It's jumped the shark for me.
A little bit. Next we get Cage and Copeland sit down interview, but no, it's just Copeland running and attacking Cage. It gets he fights off security, and then they get separated by talent in the hall. This was fine. I guess it furthers it a little and says it was a bitter feud. I just would have liked some words beforehand, because Christian is
and we learn it's Mother Wayne. That was the only thing that made me laugh. But yeah, I like decent fire from Edge, but I'm still not super interested. Again, I don't watch AEW to watch WWE feuds. Is the bottom line.
I mean, I guess
not ones I've seen like very well documented. These guys have a long.
I guess
long
WWE
history.
wouldn't do it as well, but like
no, but yeah, the match will probably be fine, and I'm sure Edge gets his win back. Unfortunately,
then we get Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue. The only thing I wrote before the match was Sky Black.
So Stokely's back on commentary, and I do not understand
trying to separate Willow and Statlander. I don't know.
I didn't understand.
Is he not like Willow? I guess that's
they
weird.
were saying. So I'm putting in a sound effect.
What?
Yeah, so it just went, what? You missed it. But anyway, so I didn't get it, and he kept talking about it.
He was funny, though. He was amazing.
He was pretty funny. And then there was like a Super Chef promo mid-match by Excalibur, and Willow's a contestant.
I don't know.
Some of the commentary, I found Stokely a bit of a distraction. Not that it's because he's kind of interesting, right? I was paying more attention to him.
It's a Dynamite women's match. Want to guess how many things I wrote, including the finish?
3.
4.
Well, nice.
3, not including the finish.
That means it's better than average, which I thought.
I guess. Chaos Theory from Statlander for 2. Code Blue from Sky Blue for 2. Which the move itself looked good, but the setup is still stupid.
I didn't hate it this time. The regular one, the Avalanche one was cool.
The Avalanche one was cool. Big powerbomb from Statlander for 2. Blue distract the ref so Julia Hart can run. They said that she hit her Statlander with the belt, but she didn't.
It just looked like her. Julia Hart needs to get control of that big old hat she wears, because it was flopping around a couple times here.
It was. Nice Avalanche Code Blue for the win. So this was fine. Average Dynamite women's match. Sky Blue still not very good, but at least she wasn't offensively bad. So
yeah, no, she wasn't.
It was like
she's gotten better.
It was an inoffensive Sky Blue performance. Finish was solid. Hart's interference didn't look overly effective. Avalanche Code Blue was pretty good looking. Abaddon don't care.
I thought the match was pretty good, but again, the dynamic with Stoke on commentary, especially with Taz, was a little bit distracting. Avalanche Code Blue was cool. I thought the second half of this was pretty entertaining, and I think it's time, right? Willow came out here. It's time to build her and have her chase Julia Hart, and I would have her win if it were up to me, because Willow, like, the crowd loves Willow. I don't know what Willow has done to annoy people like backstage or something, but people love her. But again, it felt like this was another segment like earlier where they're jamming a ton of stuff in ahead of the pay-per-view, right? A lot of moving parts.
I'm just glad. I thought Abaddon was going to run down for the save, which would have made me laugh.
And I mean, I haven't seen a ton of Abaddon. I don't think she's super good, so I don't know how that match is.
I also don't know how she ends up being a babyface.
Great look. Yeah, I don't either, but we'll see where it goes, I guess.
I'm just so confused. Then we get an Outcast interview, which just okay.
Renee with her best friend. Told you.
I'm disappointed.
Makes you like Renee a little less, eh?
Makes
Good Canadian girl.
Slightly less. Just kidding. It's
Saraya will come up in an unexpected way when I talk about Ring of Honor later.
That doesn't make sense to me.
That's why I like it. That's why it's a teaser.
Saraya and Ruby Soho interviewed by Renee. She mentioned Ruby is facing Marina Shafir and Rampage. They're saying that's a big match.
Oh, this.
No.
My first note says, I understood none of this.
Yeah. Saraya walked in saying she got Ruby little helper. It's Harley Cameron from QTV because it's her birthday in a month.
Oh, it's the girl from QTV, so I am supposed to know who she is.
Yes.
I didn't.
Ruby got a phone call. Saraya assumed it was Angela Parker. Ruby left. Harley put a big knife, and Saraya told her to put it back. So I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm just so confused. What was this? Why was this? Why was Harley Cameron here? Why do they think I still care about the Outcast? Why is Saraya giving Soho gifts if her birthday is a month away? But my big question is, why is Harley Cameron considered a gift?
And with a knife.
And why does she have a knife? And why was this here?
So is Saraya obsessed with Ruby Soho? And she doesn't like Soho getting attention from Parker?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Bringing in a gift of a what's supposed to be, I assume, an attractive woman.
No, but why is that considered a gift? And why, if her birthday's a month away, why are you giving her stuff now? And she said she's been giving her gifts all week. So furthermore, why are you giving her and why did she pull out a knife? And why is it Saraya's
I didn't understand.
Saraya's just acting like this is a regular, because when she pulled out the knife, Saraya's just like, no, put that. She's acting as if this happens on a regular basis. Right. She wasn't shocked or confused. She was just
stabbing them was a contingency plan, but we're not going to stab them. I don't know.
Yeah,
don't. I know you want to stab them, and it's still an option, but not right now.
No, because Ruby left, so she's like, put the knife away. It's just Renee. She's my best friend.
I didn't get it.
I was like, what?
It's not like I didn't get it in a way that I'm intrigued and I wonder where it goes. I'm just like, this made no sense.
Yeah, I could put this on worse segments, honestly, because it's just I don't know.
This show was matches really good, segments not so much for me.
Yeah.
A good chunk of it.
Matches really good.
A couple matches really good. Sorry.
Next we get our main event. We know half of our main event. And that's MJF versus Samoa Joe versus the Devil's Mask Man for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. And this is our main event. Sorry, did I say that yet?
I hate the treatment of Samoa Joe here.
Main event?
Just to say. This is not how you use Samoa Joe, and you know this.
Main event.
Anyways.
The one guy, he has a really round head. It looks a lot like Bennett.
I'm pretty sure one of them's Bennett.
I am 100% sure
I don't think it
Bennett.
was Taven, though.
I don't think it was Taven. I hope it's Taven, because if it's Wardlow, I'm going to throw myself in a river. But it definitely wasn't. It was most definitely Bennett.
This river runs right through our town. The mighty Maskinonge.
Going right in there.
Yep.
Joe's shown backstage clutching his knee, so he's out here. MJF's going to wrestle alone. MJF stomps on one of them in the corner, tries to unmask one, other tags in. MJF tries to unmask one on the outside. I can't take notes on this, which thankfully I didn't really have to, but just on paper, it's how do you do this?
I'm watching, I don't know, WWE or WCW or something I don't like.
WWE. I think WCW is a little mean. I think that's a little harsh. So the third came from under the ring. It's triplet magic or something like that, and he hit him with a pipe, I think, while the ref was
and then
distracted.
just went back under.
Yeah, Heat Seeker to MJF, anonymous champs. Woo! I remember I got spoiled on this. Because I saw the and new graphic. I was like, what?
I did not enjoy this.
Joe hobbles throwing up the steel chair. Devil appears on the screen. This is pleasure doing business with you. Joe hits MJF. He was in league with the devil. Muscle Buster. Muscle Buster looked good.
Don't like
that. No. Okay. So
as soon as Joe's lying on the floor injured, you knew it was fake because it's not Samoa Joe.
Because he didn't get attacked.
Samoa Joe would just show up and wrestle anyways.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't. You didn't see him getting his ass kicked. At least kick his ass. Because Hangman got his ass kicked.
And so sorry, if you can, because you're the one with the memory.
Yeah.
Walk me through the timeline of Samoa Joe and MJF. Because does this make sense?
So. What? Okay,
because hasn't he gotten beaten up by these people, or he's fought these people?
He's fought
taken
them.
Out putties, right?
Yeah, and he's I don't.
Okay, so what's the timeline of how...
Do you want, like, what do you mean? Like, the absolute full timeline?
When Samoa
like...
Joe gets involved.
Well, okay, so remember, it was All Out. Cole and MJF defended the tag titles against Silver and Reynolds, remember?
Okay.
And so they're walking back, and Joe's coming out. Remember, he had the match with Shane Taylor?
Right.
So he's walking out, and remember, he brushes by MJF, because that's a call back to that.
Yep.
So that started their first feud. They had the match at Grand Slam. That's when Cole got injured.
Yep.
Right? And so that kind of starts their thing. And obviously, Joe barely loses, right?
Yep.
It was obviously close. So then he's
good match.
Working his way back, and he relinquishes his title along the way. Cole's out of the mix. MJF has his whole feud of Switchblade. Switchblade's the first to get attacked. That's when we started all the devil nonsense, right? Switchblade sees the bell, blah, 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 whatever. And then Joe the whole time is offering him, but MJF's denying him. Then they beat the Guns to retain the tag titles. Okay. And then now... Right, so then MJF accepted the offer after, and Cole got him to honor the deal, right? Because MJF wasn't going to. And then I don't think Joe ever actually really, like, he always chased them off, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and he attacked the putties, but he never attacked the real ones. And then, obviously, him and MJF have never been shown to get attacked, right? Because Hangman has, Switchblade has, the Acclaimed have.
So he worked with the Devil to get a title shot?
I don't know.
Even though doesn't the Devil want a title shot?
I don't know.
Isn't that the end game?
Well, so here's my thing, and I said this to you after we watched it. I thought Joe's motive was fantastic. It made sense. Like, he's this badass killer. Like, he could beat MJF 100%.
Like, he's a badass, but he's got some honor. And if he says he's going to do something,
I don't even know if it's honor. I just think he knows he's that good. He's this killer. He's Samoa Joe. He could beat MJF 100%. So I like him because I don't even think it's honor. I just like that he didn't want MJF to have an excuse because that is MJF. So I like that he had that. And him protecting MJF for that reason made sense. And this just backtracks on it. And now, like, so I've been defending this the whole time, right? Because I think while it's kind
indefensible now,
fallen off in the last few weeks, I think it has been somewhat defendable. This is just like, I thought Joe's angle was fine, and I was fine with him being in this as long as he was protecting MJF because that made sense to me. That made sense to me, but then they've thrown that out now. And you know he's not the Devil because he's working with the Devil, but why, like... Is the Devil just trying to screw MJF out of everything, but he doesn't want the title himself? Which that's strange to me. So I don't know. I feel like we've gone off on, but like
I feel like the reason it feels WWE is because I'm not convinced that this was the plan from the beginning.
No, because I
feel like this was them having to swerve because of injuries.
I agree with that. I agree it wasn't the plan. I also don't think it's their fault entirely because obviously Cole's thing is a freak accident, but like. So back to the result of this. The match was nothing, obviously. So that was disappointing, but the result's highly questionable. I will only be okay with this if Cole is the Devil. And it's like, because he knows, because the ROH tag titles were a huge thing of importance for that friendship, right? So if it's Cole, him taking them away from MJF would be like, it's also good psychological torture because remember how important it was for Cole that MJF keep the belt for them? Yeah. And so now he can be like, you failed to keep the titles.
I don't know if there's any payoff that's going to deliver
I think the only payoff is Cole. That's the only reason I won't.
So not Dolph Ziggler?
No. That's not horrible.
Mustafa Ali?
That's horrible. They need to pull the trigger at World's End or this is done for me because
I've got one foot off the bandwagon for a while now.
It has to be Cole because if it's not Cole, what storyline is going to be worth this?
I know.
You know what I mean? Like
I know.
Cole and MJF feuding is the only thing that's worth this trouble for me. Because
maybe not even.
Cole and MJF would be amazing. You know it would.
It would, but there's way better ways to get there than what they've chosen.
That's too late. That's too far gone, right? So I'm just saying it's the only thing that's worth all of this toil and strife, whatever this is.
Maybe.
So this was way too lackluster for a main event spot.
Bad.
I don't know why it couldn't have been either league final, and it hurt Samoa Joe for me.
It doesn't feel like AEW. No. This is not stuff that they do, and nor should they.
I really didn't mind the mystery, but they could have just done it so much better. The idea for the Devil thing, I think, was good. The execution has been questionable, and I think it's kind of like what else was I thinking? That was like it was like really good, and the payoff wasn't great.
But like on a show
there's something else that they did
that for me is the more realistic one. You need like an authority figure to be like you can't have all this going on all the time, and people are getting attacked all over the place, and we're just letting it. Like I don't know. There's too much suspension of disbelief for me, and I know it's pro wrestling, and that's a dumb thing to say because all of it's
But
fake.
on
But
the show where you have Eddie Kingston.
But when it feels more real is when I really like it. And this feels really, really fake. And I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
But anyways, overall, the show, the two big matches were both pretty awesome.
I think, the best thing you can say about the show is that the two big matches delivered. And
all the other stuff, I didn't really love a lot of it. Like the Danielson-Kingston hype video was good. The Mox promo and Kingston promo after the match was also amazing. So I guess that's a segment. So not everything was bad. But I would give it a B. Like I really liked two of the matches. The women's match was whatever. The main event was no good. And then like we got the Renee and Saraya thing, which I don't understand. We got the Miro thing, which I don't understand, right? So there were some minuses. But again, at the end of the day, I still enjoyed watching the show. So I give it a B this week.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the two major matches that I was looking forward to delivered and get me to a result that I am heavily invested in, that I am excited for. I think also the post-match promo with Eddie and Moxley was fantastic. And Eddie was definitely the MVP of the show. Just a couple good promos from him, a really strong match. So that he was really great this week. The Callis family thing was a letdown because I thought it started off really strong and then just kind of fell off. The two segments that you mentioned that I don't understand, Saraya and Miro, just I don't care. That trios thing with Action and Andretti was also kind of confusing. Women's match was mediocre. Swerve segment was solid. What was it? Cage and Copeland was okay, and then the main event was just a cluster F.
And especially when you go, hey, it's like we're an hour and 58 minutes in. It's time for the main event. Like, it was pretty telegraphed too.
Yeah, the devil thing is just more disappointing than anything.
All right. You're giving it a B?
I would give it yes, I'd give it a B. I will second your rating.
All right. Well, that wraps up our Dynamite review, and we'll now move into our trivia segment that we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right. So it's some general trivia again that I found. It's called Big Quiz
Thing.
Thing.
Do I need headphones for this?
No, just because if I do sound effects when you're right and wrong, you can hear them. It's not an audio one. I'm just going to
That's what I thought it was.
I'm going to play with some sound effects. So it's from Big Quiz Thing, which is like a general wrestling trivia that I haven't seen before. So I'm pretty sure we have some of the questions we might have done before, but I haven't hit their website overall before. So I thought we would try it. I think I got like 15-ish questions, maybe 16. We'll see how it goes. Who was the winner of the first WrestleMania main event to feature women?
Becky Lynch.
There you go. Okay, correct. Great. And who won the first WWE Universal Championship?
Finn Balor.
Never
got it again.
Even I knew that one. And then he got hurt.
Because they tout it for him a bunch, and then there's like, oh, you can't have another one, though.
Right. Who among the New Day members first won the WWE Championship?
Coffee.
Correct. I knew that one too. Who won the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Cesaro.
Yes, very good.
Real American Cesaro.
In what year did the first WrestleMania take place?
1985.
Why would you know that?
Because that's just like one of those things you come to know by now.
So now this is what I like this because it gets like oddly specific from pretty general stuff. Who did Becky Lynch defeat in her return to ring debut after giving birth?
Bianca Belair.
Why?
It was that match where she beat her really quick, remember? And we all hated it. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
The one where she just came back and like.
Oh yeah, I was not happy about that.
Inexplicably, yeah.
Is
that one?
Who was the first Nexus leader?
Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I was getting my thumb was on the button. I haven't even got to use my no one yet. Yeah. Who was the first King of the Ring champion? Oh, come on.
It was Harley Race. I don't know. No.
Any other guesses?
Oh, I should know. Was it Macho?
No.
That's too fun.
Morocco?
Correct.
I don't know why that was the third one I thought. But I just saw it in a video, so I knew I was like around it. I was just trying to think like really early kings.
At least I got to use my no.
I think it was them, and Haku was an early one.
Who was the youngest ever Divas champion?
Paige.
Correct.
Saraya.
I actually knew that one too.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think.
Double ding.
Because I did say Paige and Saraya. So
True.
It works, but like I was trying to think, and I just remember her being like really young when she won that, and she was still NXT champion too.
I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but you might be able to figure it out. In what year did the WWE Network debut?
2014.
Oh, God.
I knew that.
Why?
Because I think we watched NXT Arrival, which was the first show on there, 2014.
Yeah.
I think Mania was the first WWE like main roster one on there.
Wow. That is impressive. Wait, where is it?
You are a huge nerd.
Thank you. You're enjoying this way too much.
I am. In what? Oh, sorry, you just did that one. To earn his spot in the main event of WrestleMania 30, who did Daniel Bryan defeat?
Triple H.
Why?
Beat Triple H and he beat the other guys in Evolution in the main event.
Lame. Which female wrestler was the first to hold the titles of Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion?
Simultaneously? Probably Becky. Or is it... Wait.
No!
Alexa then, right? Okay.
I don't even have to talk anymore. It's amazing.
Okay, because that's why I tried to ask simultaneously, because I do remember them touting Alexa Bliss as the first to do both, but then Becky was the only one to hold them at the same time, so I wasn't sure if it was that. So that's... I don't know. I guess it depends how you take it.
I guess. What do we have left? Who hosted WrestleMania 33?
New Day.
Whoops. Sorry, wrong one.
No!
Yes. Sorry. I like the no one so much. When Hulk Hogan won the WWE Championship for the first time, who did he beat?
Iron Sheik.
Correct. That one's easy.
This is that big ugly green belt with the
In
15
2005, John Cena released a rap album called what?
My time is now.
No!
Very close though. Like go with his
You can't
catchphrase.
see me.
Correct.
Oh,
Second
wow.
guess.
Creative.
Kitten. Little kitten.
I think I need to take this away from you
It's my
next
new,
time.
because there was a podcast I used to listen to that I'm sure nobody's ever heard of called Two Jacks in the Hole. And anytime they annoyed anyone, the host would always be like, he's sending a basket of apology kittens, and he would have them meowing constantly. Made me laugh. Last one. Can you name the first person in WWE history to pin Mr. Perfect? I got my thumb over the no. I'm ready. I purposely put one you might not know.
Texas Tornado.
No hint.
No!
I feel like it's probably Warrior, right?
No. But think of big names like that.
Hogan.
Yeah, unfortunately,
That's
it was.
what I thought.
It
but
was
I
Hulk
didn't.
Hogan.
I couldn't think of a time they would have wrestled other than. I know Perfect was the runner-up of the '90 Rumble, but I didn't. That's not pinfall.
Well, thank you for indulging me in my sound effects. Now that I know I can just Bluetooth sound effects in, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't regret it at all.
I'm trying to limit them because I could play them nonstop. But anyways, we heard a few of my favorites. But anyways, we'll move back into talking about the week that was in wrestling. We'll look at things we liked and didn't on other things we watched. I'll even mention a bit of Ring of Honor. It's what we call Highspots and Restholds. Yes, I can hear it. I think you're the only person in the world listening to Cassius Ohno's theme on their own time. Not that I don't love me some Cassius Ohno,
I don't know
because
why.
I do.
I think I saw a news thing.
I could hear it out of your headphones. Oh, no.
Yeah, he might be coming back to the ring or something. Hey, I love him. Okay.
So you got a reprieve from Raw this week. Not that you watch it, but you didn't
Raw
have to
and
look
SmackDown actually.
because it was a highlight show.
They pulled an Impact. I guess
They
this is
pulled
the
an
week of
Impact.
best of actually.
It was, and Impact. I saw it was the main event was the Ospreay Bailey match, which
I guess
was
I
awesome.
forgot to mention in the news. Yeah, they put that full thing on YouTube. I guess I can talk about Impact thing real quick. I'll just get their awards out of the way now and then.
Do it.
Can get NXT. Match of the year was the aforementioned Bailey Ospreay. Makes sense. Wrestler of the year, Alex Shelley, of course.
Makes
Moment of the
sense.
year was them returning to TNA.
Of course, they're
I
gonna.
guess.
They have to say that.
X Division Star of the year.
Bailey.
Yes. And that is it. That's
Gave
okay.
myself a game show ding there. You didn't hear because you took headphones
Okay.
off.
That's right. I guess. I mean, I could put them back in. Maybe.
So I'm going to talk about NXT, almost everything that was on there, I think. Since I don't have Impact to talk about, I kind of hit everything. And you joined in about halfway, I know that. So you did not see the opener was the All or Nothing tag team match. And it's Chase U taking on Out the Mud. Do you remember what this is for and what it's about?
So they have half the money. They get the other half if they win. If OTM win, Chase don't get the money, and they get a title shot.
Very good. So somehow Tony D and Stax are fine with this arrangement that makes them
Fighting
defend their
champions, I
titles.
guess.
I guess they are baby faces now. So yes, that's what it is. For the other half of the money they need to save the university, they have to be out the mud. So early on, your boy Lucian Price is controlled by Chase U.
I don't know why I find him interesting.
He's got some physical charisma. He's such a big, powerful dude, like Goldberg-ish.
The animalistic mannerisms that they mention. It's interesting.
So frequent tags and use of the 5 count to double team here. Tony D and Stax are then shown watching from up in the balcony. Price sidekick stops Chase and Bronco Nima comes in, and Nima controls Chase while yelling at Tony and Stax as they're watching from the stands. Price sort of slithers around awkwardly just to hit a corner clothesline. Like, I didn't think the setup, it'd be like doing what Orton does and then hitting something super basically.
Which also Orton does. So.
He does. Eventual hot tag to Duke Hudson. He cleans house, including Death Valley Driver to Price onto Nima. I think it was in the corner. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was in the middle of the ring, I think. Scripps then gets on the apron, because can't forget about him, to talk to Chase. As Hudson chases Scripps away, Chase tags himself in, telling Hudson, I've got this. And then Chase comes off the ropes into a Price sidekick, and out the mud hit their finisher, which I forget what it is.
I thought it looked really lame.
And it's over in 6 minutes. So really basic match, almost no wrestling moves here, probably mostly due to out the mud's inexperience. Just kind of brawling and basic stuff for the vast majority. So I think what we're supposed to get is Scripps was talking to Chase, and it's like the match is fixed somehow. Because then Chase immediately tagged himself in and took the loss. So I don't know what's going on or how it makes sense.
That feels a little too meta for me, because, everything's fixed already, technically. So it's like, now it's fixed even in the fixed universe. You know what I mean?
And why would he risk not getting all the money unless Scripps has some sort of, I don't know. I'm putting too much thought into it.
It's just, it brain hurt.
I've liked a lot of the Chase U stuff. The whole gambling problem, losing the university is a bridge too far for me. Creed Brothers win Tag Team of the Year. That makes sense. Tiffany Stratton wins NXT Female Superstar. Makes sense as well. And Dragunov Male Superstar.
I think that kind of makes sense, but I thought it's kind of weird because he kind of became champ late. So
he did.
Like, I don't know.
They're probably sort of like storyline-wise a bit. You could, for sure. Speaking of Mello, he's backstage with Trick. They're talking about Ilya getting hurt by Ridge Holland last week. Trick is thinking of pushing the match back, right? Doing the honorable, like, I want Dragunov to be at 100%. But again, because Mello is teasing a bit of heelness, he's kind of like, don't do that. Why would you do that? Beat him. Trick then is sort of like, don't you think I can beat Ilya if he's 100%? And Mello just kind of, I think he kind of dodges the question. Is like,
I wouldn't if Mello can.
You're red hot right now. You should take your shot when you have your shot, sort of thing. And again, I like it. It's kind of like, that is the heel Mello is just barely below the surface, right? But again, I needed to keep moving forward. They tend to get stuck in a kind of holding pattern with it. We then get a Heritage Cup match, the worst one I've seen, because I generally really like them. Not that this was terrible, but it's Noam Dar, Josh Briggs, and Briggs. My first note: Briggs is a stupid baby face, so he decides not to have anyone at ringside because he's
don't
doing.
Don't you need a cornerman though?
And that's the dumb part. Meta-4 are there, so Dar has 3 other people there with him.
So even if you didn't have a faction, it'd be smart to have someone.
And B, it's a match where you have a corner person in between rounds. So dumb decision. But anyways, Dar's a crafty heel, but he keeps getting overpowered by Briggs in round 1. Briggs releases from a power bomb as the round ends, sort of to showcase that is something Noam Dar would never do, right? He would hit that damn power bomb after the bell for sure. And my note, could commentary talk about Briggs being all alone more? It's one of those like storyline sort of things. More of Briggs countering Dar's submissions with power moves. Briggs hits a big clothesline and pins Dar to end round 2 early. Commercial break eats all of round 3 as it always does, but the last 30 seconds. So they're battling on their apron, and as we're told that round 3 has been all Noam Dar. DDT on the apron and a kick to the head of Briggs on the barricade as the round ends. Round 4, you get Dar with a series of running kicks to start. He then runs into a boot and takes a chokeslam for a near fall. Dar starts working. Speaking of which, I'm going to pause right there. Did you know one of the matches on that NWA show, the controversial one, was anytime there was a near fall, people had to take shots, and then all the workers were pretending to be drunk.
Anytime they had to do coke or whatever.
It was just that no, they were saying it wasn't coke. It was some sort of root that James Mitchell was snorting.
Right.
Anyways, Dar starts working Briggs' left leg and hits his back elbow along the way. Big right hand. Dar is down. Lash with the bucket, I guess that's used in the corner between rounds. A bucket shot to Briggs as the ref is checking on Dar. And then Miss Jackson distracts the ref. Mensa reintroduced.
Jakara Jackson?
Sure. Always forget her name, so it's Miss Jackson. Shout out to Outcast. So Mensa reintroduces the bucket, but Briggs gets a hold of it and hits Dar as the ref turns around. Briggs gets a DQ, which instantly ends the match, which I wasn't aware of. I thought it would just be a fall.
I forgot
but
about
it's
that,
over.
but I know they've mentioned that.
So, I mean, they really, really telegraphed the numbers game would be the difference in this match. I found that really annoying by commentary pointing it out nonstop. You knew it was basically the finish, right? It wasn't the worst Heritage Cup match. No, it was the worst one I can remember, but I don't think it was terrible. But the part of the reason they're interesting is because it's a showcase for Dar, and this wasn't, right? It was Briggs in control for a lot of this, and his style doesn't suit Heritage Cup division to me anyways.
No, I think that was kind of the point, but also just
and obviously this isn't over, but I don't really want any more of it, but I guess we're probably going to get it. I don't know, we'll see. Fraser and Axiom are chatting in the kitchen. Fraser starts talking crap about Braun Breaker as Braun walks up behind him. Braun tells him to slow down and think before he speaks, because Fraser's gimmick is, right, he'll never slow down because he's so fast. Fraser says he won't slow down. He didn't say anything he wouldn't say to Braun's face. Fraser asks if Braun's spear can catch up to him, and Braun tells him to be careful what he wishes for. So this is now a couple times that Fraser's been speaking badly about people who walk up behind him. So I don't think they know what to do with Fraser. This isn't really getting my attention either, but I still feel like maybe there's a heel thing coming.
Seems like it.
He has really good matches, so I can be patient. I like watching him wrestle, but everything else, I'm not sure what they're doing with him. We then get Cora Jade and Carmen Petrovic in a match, and Carmen Petrovic needs to stop wielding a sword on the way to the ring. It just looks silly to me.
Yeah, I don't know why Drew McIntyre still does it. It's ridiculous.
Jade hits a running back elbow to the back of Petrovic's head as she's leaning against the ropes. Brief flurry for Petrovic with kicks and forearms, including a buzzsaw kick to the back. Jade pulls Petrovic into the ropes, hits her DDT for the win. She looks to dish out more punishment after the match, but guess who makes the save?
Nikki Lyons.
Gigi Dolan. Jade is still essentially a mean girl, and it feels the same and stale and lazy and no different from what she was doing before her lengthy absence, where we were assured she was coming back different. This match was 3 minutes and showcased nothing. And now we'll get Jade versus Dolan, which also is not interesting to me. So I know they love Cora Jade, but I don't see it. But anyways, Lexis King versus Riley Osborne in a breakout tournament. What is this, semifinal already, right? I believe so. My first one question. King's entrance lasted through an entire commercial break. That sucks. And will Chase use earlier setback beyond the mind of Riley Osborne? That's what we're told by commentary. A guy who was just shown to be affiliated with this school like 2 weeks ago is going to be really concerned about them losing the opening match, I guess. Anyways, holds encounters early as Trey Bearhill slowly comes down the ramp. Remember, Lexis King attacked Bearhill with the steel chair, and that got King in the tournament. One chair shot of death, apparently. We get a corner double stomp, single leg crab by King. Thea Hale is shown cheering for Riley Osborne. Obviously, she's up in the Chase U section, I believe. Osborne's then on fire with a leg lariat and a standing, twisting moonsault. Backbreaker and a straight jacket backstabber by King. I actually like that combination. King sets up for a superplex, but Bearhill grabs the chair he's been sitting on in the ramp watching the match, walks towards King, who obviously gets distracted by this. He's pushed off the ropes to the mat, just in a right spot for Osborne to hit his does look nice shooting star press. It's over in under 4 minutes. King narrowly escapes a beatdown from Bearhill after the match. So obviously King is spinning off into a feud angle story with Bearhill. Hooray. And Osborne's an impressive athlete, right? He's very like Matt Sydalish kind of thing. And actually King's offense in this really short match seems a little better than usual with some back targeting going on. Storyline and in real life, King continues to be a miss, right? Like he doesn't win matches as this new second generation superstar. He just loses all the time. And he kind of looks weak in the process of losing. Anyways, he's a big miss for me this year. NXT match of the year. Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov at No Mercy. Fair. Moment of the year. What do you think? Disagree.
Oh, it was Taker, wasn't
It
it?
was Undertaker appears and chokeslams Braun Breaker,
It was either gonna be that or Cena.
I guess. Eva, I forgot who that was, but she's the de facto... Ava. The de facto authority figure here, I guess, is asked by Kelly Kincaid about Ilya Dragunov's condition. She says no one has heard from him all week, but he's on his way here to decide if next week's match will happen. So then we get Nathan Frazier and Braun Breaker, and I made a note that you started watching at this point. Braun is overpowering early. Frazier is fast and elusive, but a Braun shoulder tackle flattens Frazier. Braun picks up and throws Frazier into the corner as a counter to something Frazier was setting up to do. Braun then manhandles Frazier, stays in control for a while here. Frazier eventually slips out of a suplex attempt, run the ropes super fast to confuse Braun. He does the same thing Leo Rush does.
I saw it.
But I think it looks awesome. It actually looked like he was avoiding Braun and Braun was having trouble, so I kind of liked it. We get a gut check, had to ask you what it was called, and a Beal by Braun after a huge release German suplex. Braun pulls Frazier off the ropes, and Frazier hits an enziguri to slow Braun down finally. Frazier then in control for a bit with a dive to the floor, a missile drop kick to send Braun into the ring steps. Frazier goes off the top, but is caught and hit with an instant World's Strongest Slam. I thought it looked really good. Braun just crushed him with it.
Yeah, like a snap slam, yeah.
Frazier super kick for 2, back up top, missed Phoenix Splash with a roll through, but then Braun kind of follows it in with a huge spear. Looked pretty good too, and the match is over. I thought you caught the best match of this week on this show. Frazier's quickness and Braun's power and explosiveness on display, a nice contrast of styles. Each man got a bit of time to shine, more Braun than Frazier, but that's kind of what you expect. Braun is a beast with a couple memorable spots, right? The catch into the power slam.
The spear looked awesome.
The spear looked really good. And again, this constant losing for Frazier, I think there's some sort of character change, more significant coming for him, hopefully. You saw this as well. Drew Gulak and company. What's the name again?
No Quarter Catch Crew.
Yes. Gulak says that he's learned the hard way that you have to do things some way in WWE. I can't remember what he said. Says that Dragon Lee and the LWO are going to pay. They all kind of, each man in the group gets to say some sort of threatening thing, and Gulak says they're challenging Lee, Wild, and Cruz to a 6-man tag at New Year's Evil. NXT is about to become a no-fly zone, so we're doing...
I like that you brought that back.
I do. And I'm willing to give this group a chance, but they need to do something to elevate themselves beyond like the mid-car fodder they've kind of been for a while. I like Dempsey a lot, and I think Kemp has potential too. And at this point, though, like I think you would agree, Gulak's good in the ring, but if he's the leader of your group, your ceiling is mid-card, right? There's no... So I think, fantasy booking, forgive me, everybody, Regal comes, he's got to be ready to go at some point. He leads this group a little bit, grooms his own son to take it over, and it leads to a Dempsey-Gulak feud for like leadership of the group or whatever.
Yeah, like a kind of a NXT.
I hope. I don't know. Because I like Dempsey, but they need to get his career moving a bit faster, and being in this group, like he needs to outgrow this group
I love
quickly.
Dempsey, yeah.
Me too. So we'll see what happens. And then obviously like Dempsey and his dad would feud or split and at some point, I would think. Anyways, what's his name? Brooks Jensen and Fallon Henley walk up to Josh Briggs and say that he almost had it in the Heritage Cup match. And maybe if they were out there with him, things could have been different, but that's not what Briggs wanted. Jensen says Briggs helped him, and he can see that Briggs wants to become a singles guy. He says Fallon should accept Tiffany's challenge, and she says she'd like to see Tiffany become her servant, because that's the gimmick there. Briggs says he loves them. Fallon says it's over. Jensen says one last time, and they put their hands together and do their shake. The other two split, and leaving Jensen there all alone. He says they're his family, and he's again, really close on the heels of the Mellow Trick split sort of thing. It kind of feels the same, but it is moving a lot faster. Who becomes the heel? I guess Jensen, because he's abandoned.
He already kind of did it once.
Right. So I don't know where this is going. I'm not super interested. It's like Mellow Trick light. You saw this, Ariana Grace. I don't know if you'd seen much of her character.
They tried to rip off the Shield, which made me annoyed.
Ariana thanks Ava for her time and tells her about the tragedy in the locker room last week.
This was kind of amusing.
Where she was viciously attacked by Roxy. She says she still has a mark on her face, and fortunately she has really good bone structure, but it doesn't excuse what Roxy did. She suggests Roxy be enrolled in anger management courses, and Ava says the next step for Roxanne is a match with Ariana Grace at New Year's Evil. Grace asks how Roxy took the rejection, sort of like, I assume you told her she couldn't have the match, right? But of course, surprise, surprise.
She thinks it's a great idea.
The match is going to happen.
A babyface.
But Grace is good, right? She's funny in this role as like she thinks she's being a babyface, but she's being a condescending prick to everybody. I kind of enjoy it.
I like him.
Yep. We then get Lyra, Valkyria, and Blair Davenport. Did I get the name right? I did.
Yeah, you did.
Without even thinking.
Good job.
It's a new era.
I thought it was weird because I was running Universe Mode and I had Blair Davenport in a match, and then later on I had Rollins, and he's built from Davenport, Iowa, which is it's just strange. I remember thinking that when I first saw her name too. I was like, Davenport.
So they sit down with not Mackenzie or Kelly, because I don't know what her name is.
Oh, I know who it is too, and I don't know her name, but
not Mackenzie or Kelly.
It's not Megan Moran either, because I know what she looks like. Oh, who
Look it up.
Okay.
Blair is asked why it took so long, and Blair says Lyra
John knows.
Blew her knee out in NXT UK.
She's got no.
Lyra counters that Blair has been avoiding her and points out how she's not like Blair, who had to attack people from behind in the parking lot. Davenport says that she did it because she had to make people pay attention, and Lyra points out that Nikita Lyons came back and attacked her. Blair says she won the Iron Survivor Challenge, and Lyra wishes anyone else had won. Lyra counters that and welcomes the competition from Davenport. Megan is her name. Don't know what the last name is. Megan asks both what will happen.
That's not Megan Moran, but like...
is it not?
It's not Megan Moran. I know it's not Megan Moran.
At New Year's Evil, Lyra knows Davenport will do anything to win the title and wants the title to be named.
Well, I would just like to point out an inconsistency or an error in John's review. I'm scrolling by in the review of the segment with the country people. He said they never won any titles or anything like that. They were UK tag champs for no reason.
How dare you, John?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Lyra says she wants it because it proves she's the best. Blair says that she saw Lyra rise and she will be the reason for her fall. Totally fine. Neither of them are great on the mic, but neither is terrible either. I guess it was a solid recap of their history, even predating NXT US. Needs a bit more fire from one or both of them, though. Both are good in the ring and among the most experienced in NXT, so I have some hope that the match will be better than the build. The build's been fine, but I hope the match is good. We then get breakout semifinals again. You saw this. It's Oba Femi taking on Tavion Heights. Heights tries to suplex and take down Femi early, but he can't because Femi is a really, really big, I think, shot putter is his previous career.
That makes sense.
Femi takes over with some ground and pound and a nice Uranagi backbreaker. Femi goes back to basics.
Sarah Schreiber.
Oh, okay.
So
not Megan.
No, Megan Morant's on the bump. My least favorite thing in existence.
He picks up Tavion Heights and just kind of throws him across the ring like shot putter style. Heights hits a Death Valley driver, German suplex, and belly to overhead. Again, I think it's the same sequence before. Impressive because Femi's huge. So Heights has some charisma, right? And some energy and whatever. I don't know what
Definitely
you thought
got energy.
He does. Sudden Oba Femi clothesline stops Heights' little flurry. Pop-up faceplant, pop-up powerbomb. Femi wins in just over 4 minutes. A bunch of quick matches again this week. A little bit annoying. Femi showed a bit more here, I thought, but he still looks really inexperienced to me. Heights was impressive with the consecutive throws of a huge man, and I like his fire and charisma. Femi and Osborne at least sets up a nice contrast of styles, but like, how long of a match can these two guys have?
Not.
Like, can you get 8 minutes? I don't know.
Maybe if Tavion Heights had someone else, but I don't think Femi's very...
Again, this is the anti-Continental Classic.
Yeah.
For sure. We get a Ridge Holland interview next week.
Yeah, because the storyline you get in this tournament is one chair shot, Lexus King in.
Right. And then he's out.
Guy back. Yeah, like that's the storyline you get instead of all the C2 stuff we already went over.
Battle of the Joes. Joe Gacy, Joe Coffey.
Battle of the Joes.
Gacy in control early. He's sent to the floor. Gallus distracts him. Joe Coffey hits him with a dive. The crowd is amusing themselves with some Joe Forever chants, I think. Backbreaker and like a Vader bomb elbow drop by Coffey in the corner. Gacy back in control with a Saito and a backdrop before a dive of his own. Sorry, I called it a Saito. Doomsday. My mistake.
Okay.
Uranagi by Gacy as Gallus get on the apron. Hank and Tank come down to take care of Wolfgang and Mark Coffey as Gacy hits his handspring clothesline for the win in less than 4 minutes. Even two inexperienced dudes who can actually wrestle get 4 minutes.
I honestly just remember the finish.
Solid back and forth, super short. A way to get Hank and Tank in there, I guess. But what is Gacy doing at this point?
No, because I saw he was like, and then he's like running off after. I don't understand what his thing is.
They
played as theme, so and he was all like
Right,
confused,
same theme as
confused,
before.
happy, but like then I saw like a thing they posted on Instagram like he's like running off after, and I don't understand.
It's not super interesting. Megan, maybe not Megan, I guess,
Sarah Schreiber
asked the LWO and Dragon Lee about the no quarter catch cruise challenge from earlier, and of course they say yes.
they said they're gonna lucha or something.
Wild says they can't let that group diss their style or something. Elektra Lopez walks in, remember, and they complain about something. Cruz says they're really proud of her because she's
Elektra
done
Lopez.
nothing.
Because remember she's with
Who's
Elektra.
Lola Vice. But I know, so they're
Alright.
they're proud of Elektra Lopez for
Getting a friend.
I guess. And Lola's kind of like disinterested or just kind of standing there. I don't know. Don't know what it was doing. Didn't add anything. Main event time. It's Dijak. It's Eddie Thorpe in NXT Underground. Eddie Thorpe is in war paint and on the warpath. These are not words you're supposed to use anymore. But they
You
did.
can't use war paint.
I mean, it's sort of that whole
I mean, they have
indigenous
said
as
they've-
savages.
They have said that for
Stereotype.
like other people though, so I feel like that's okay.
I guess.
Like they've definitely used the terminology for Finn Balor. I know they have.
Yeah.
So in that regard, I feel like that's okay.
So NXT Underground, no ropes, lighting is dark, a whole bunch of talent surround the ring and bang on the apron in an annoying manner as this drags on. No rules either. So the ref is just there to count the pinfall, I think.
No
Something like that.
pinfall, submission or knockout.
Sorry,
Dummy.
just there to do
Yeah.
that. Thorpe with a big knee and a German suplex followed by a submission attempt. Dijak goes for a choke slam, but Eddie counters with a triangle choke. So Dijak obviously picks him up into a power bomb to break that. Eddie gets thrown into the ring post heading into a commercial. I don't get picture-in-picture, so I don't know what happens during the commercial. We get a Dijak somersault dive to Thorpe on the floor after the break. German suplex and a brainbuster by Thorpe as he eludes Dijak's strikes. Sleeper by Thorpe, but Dijak throws himself backwards onto the mat to shift the momentum again. Discus boot by Dijak, then another. Thorpe counters a third discus boot with an enziguri. Thorpe German suplexes Dijak to the floor because there's no ropes, right? And Dijak kind of flips out and lands on his feet.
That was cool.
It was
dangerous,
crazy.
but-
It really was. It looked great. Then a pretty much immediate feast your eyes to Thorpe on the floor. Dijak then a bunch of security. He starts fighting off security. I was a little confused.
No, he was
Just snapped.
he was just attacking the randos.
The people at ringside,
The
I guess.
randos, man.
Dijak runs at Thorpe but gets backdropped onto the edge of the apron. Looked pretty good as well. Dijak is down but wraps a belt or a leather strap, they said. It looked like a belt to me, around his hand. Thorpe blocks the punch with the belt on it and hits an Impaler DDT, which they're calling, what was it again? Manifest Destiny.
Oh, that's so lame.
Whipping Dijak with the strap. Thorpe sleeper, but Dijak runs Thorpe into the post. Powerbomb gets countered into Hurricane Rana that sends Dijak to the floor. Cactus elbow drop by Thorpe, and then another Impaler DDT on the floor. But Dijak won't let the ref stop the match, and he kind of like goozles the ref here, right? The ref's like,
Goozle, that's a funny word.
Thorpe sleeper on the floor. Dijak backs into the barricade, but Thorpe still hangs on. Dijak climbs the steps with Thorpe on his back. Thorpe transitions into another Impaler, this time off the steps through the announce table, and the match is over after 16 minutes, basically. I actually like this. I liked it better than the first Underground match, although a lot of people love that. So I was a little less enamored with it than a lot. But I thought this was a good main event for NXT. Dijak continues to shine in big matches. I thought this was Thorpe's best match, maybe, or a lot better than a lot of his work so far. I'm not sure how much the Underground part added to it.
I just don't like the match stipulation.
But I
Fight
enjoyed
Pit,
it.
this is not.
I don't
miss
know
Fight
like
Pit.
if this is Thorpe's like signature match now and why he deserves this.
I don't know how it fits his character either. While I am glad that they're not doing some over the top stereotypical
Right.
Native American thing, I also don't understand how this really works for him.
And what do you do with Dijak? He's so good in ring, but like so bad everywhere else.
It really sucks they don't have Stoke anymore.
He needs some, I don't know what they
I
need
feel
to do,
like
but
if they had kept the original vision for Diamond Mine, he could have been in
because
there.
to me with the mouthpiece, he could be a North American champion. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's ever your main champion, but
No.
he has really good matches. Anyways, I thought this was good.
If he was in the OG Diamond Mine where they were like heels, where they had like the fighter kind of thing,
Yeah.
I think he would fit in there with Malcolm Bivens or Stokely Hathaway
Yeah.
in there, and Tyler Rust being on TV and doing things.
Amazing.
It's fucking
Tyler
great.
Rust, the good old days.
Yeah.
Then we end the show with Ilya and Trick at a table together, and Ilya's in a neck brace. Trick asks if Ilya can strap
He's
up
just gonna be like, Trick.
strap up the boots for next week because he's not holding back.
I thought that was lame.
Trick signs the contract and says they can push the match if they need more time. Ilya says, unfortunately, nothing and no one can stop him.
Sir, can I ask why they were in like a police interrogation room?
Pulls off the neck brace. I don't know. It's
that
like when Eric Young and Diener,
It's honestly,
the murder scene. They stand up, stare down, shake hands to end the show. Fine. I can't imagine Trick wins, although I guess if they really, really want to see this all the way through, but I don't know. Anyways, any thoughts from you?
No.
It's a pretty standard segment.
I just thought the room was really lame.
And it's not like Trick's a good talker, and I don't think this was the best
It was
example
just
of
really
it.
like short and like an unnecessary add-on if you weren't gonna like add more to it.
It was. And then obviously SmackDown just kind of happens.
Best
so I don't
of.
think you have it. Oh, it was a best of as well. Triple H given to talent the week off. What a guy. First time in like 50 years for these people. So that will then, you said you don't really have figuring it out, but we do have a preview to do, right?
We do.
So we will move into a preview of, I guess, since it's after midnight, tonight's AEW pay-per-view, which is called, I forget, because I want to say
World's End.
I want to say End of the World. It's not. It's World's End. So we'll preview that quickly right about now. All right, I did put in a little bit of prep. I actually looked at the match card and thought about some stuff. So some I thought were pretty easy and some less so. So what do you got for me?
So I'll run through my picks and then we'll obviously do yours after, just in case I.
Oh, I know what I
got
forgot.
some genius thoughts.
Pause. I didn't talk about Ring of Honor. Ready? Here it goes.
Who cares?
Nyla Rose beat Alejandra Lyon. Literally, they said local talent. So this is like Dark or Elevation 100% now.
It is.
Pretty Peter Avalon lost to the
Throwback.
most impressive person on the night, Zach Knight. Do you know who that is?
Isn't it? Is that?
That is Soraya's brother.
That's who I was. Okay.
And he actually looked
That's
pretty
who I
intense
thought.
and decent. The funny thing is, though, he's not super huge, and they kept talking about him like he's a big powerhouse.
Zach Zodiac.
Because he was facing Peter Avalon, who's pretty small.
Yes.
Iron Savages and Jacked Jameson
Yep.
lost to the Von Erichs and Brian Keith. And the Von Erichs aren't good, dude. They look good, like they're both in shape and whatnot, but they do not wrestle very
Brian
well.
Keith is good.
Then Kiera Hogan, Lady Frost, Trish Adora took on Taya Valkyrie, the Renegades, and Taya and the Renegades won.
Taya
What a
sucks.
star-studded lineup, eh? Tony Nese beat Joey Hyder, another local talent.
Tony Nese is cool though.
Billy Starks beat Vert Vixen. She did.
Oh, Vert Vixen.
Billy Starks did like nothing, hit a swanton and won. Like I did not see a lot out of her. And then the main event, Paige beat Johnny TV because Dalton Castle, who has beef with Johnny TV, I guess.
Remember Johnny TV
came
screwed him
down.
at the pay-per-view for no reason?
Yeah, and Dalton Castle hasn't slept in weeks now.
Dalton Castle is funny though.
So anyways, there's your Ring of Honor Turbo review.
Great,
It
because
is
I was
not.
gonna lose sleep if you didn't.
It is not worth watching. Still, can confirm.
Told
I
you.
checked in. It's not good.
Pay-per-view delivered, which
It
begs
did.
begs
It
the
did.
question how.
So let's preview this
Okay.
sucker.
So I'll run down the match. I'll give
Yep.
you my pick in case I have some genius
Yep,
convinces you of something.
you might.
Although we tend to agree. Okay, 0 hour, 2 matches, not swerve.
No, hopefully not.
Hook versus Wheeler Yuta, FTW Championship. I know this might be surprising, but FTW rules. Whoa. Not much reason for you to win here. Hoping for a fun match, but kind of clear Hook wins.
Hook wins. That title is with him. Without it, he has nothing. And I don't.
Yeah.
Not that title's much, but yeah, it's staying there.
20-man battle royal for a TNT title shot. I saw an interesting thing from What Culture, so I'm saying I'm going to agree with them. Luchasaurus wins. He's either told to lay down for Christian if he retains, or Christian tries to usurp his title shot if Copeland wins the title.
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing that makes
I have
sense.
to pick a winner when I don't even know who's in it.
Yeah, so I'm going with that. That just seems like something that would make sense.
I'll go Jay White because he needs a rehab.
He's in a match. Do you want to change that pick?
I do want to.
I will give you that.
Who's gonna face Christian Cage? I don't.
Well, it could
know.
be. That depends. Do you think Christian's winning? Because that could also affect your pick.
I don't think Christian is winning.
So bear that in mind.
So I don't even know who's in this thing though.
That's why I'm thinking that just makes makes sense to me. Luchasaurus has the storyline potential.
And I don't want to take Miro or Andrade. They're somebody that need a quick win.
They're
but
also in a
they're
match
already
against each other.
involved in stuff. I don't know who is even likely to be in this thing.
That's why my pick makes sense.
I'll take Takeshita.
He's probably in a match too. Remember, it's either him or Fletcher in the match, so I wouldn't pick him. I'll give you one more chance.
Okay,
to pick
I'll
someone
take
not in a match.
Malachi Black.
Really?
Yep, that's who's winning it. Mark my words. You heard it here
That's
first.
you throwing a pick right
Yeah, heard it here
That's
first.
you throwing a pick. I'm telling you, it's Luchasaurus. Watch me call that.
Nah,
I mean,
we'll see.
thanks to what culture? Tony Storm, Riho. AEW Women's World Championship. I don't really care either way. I can't see Riho winning. Though,
Tony
so
Storm wins, retains. They're loving this character that I'm not loving as champion.
I kind of soured on.
Me
Okay.
too.
Then this one becomes tricky because this is the All-Star 8-man tag, a.k.a. remnants of the
This isn't
C2.
tricky. Sting's in it, bro.
No, this is not that.
Oh, sorry.
Different
What is
match.
it?
It is Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Mark
okay.
Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia versus Jay White, Jay Lethal, Roosh, and Brody King. So this one's kind of a wash because it's a thrown together with the Continental Classic remnants. So I would really hope this heel side wins because I love Switchblade and Roosh and Brody are sick. But I feel like the babyface side will win, not just because that tends to happen, but also because I feel like it could be a win for Garcia and Briscoe, who lost most of the time. So
I think
feel
that's
like
them a win. That's my instincts is that side as well.
So now I got to type these 4 names.
As much as I love Brody King, he got a lot out of the tournament, and Garcia did not. So.
Neither did Briscoe.
And Briscoe as well.
Yeah, and Switchblade definitely got a lot of it. So there's that. Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee. I feel like there could be a solid chance Keith Lee wins to finally get some semblance of payback. But
Stop. You're off the podcast. We're now
I'm not
open
saying
auditions for a replacement.
But like, I also feel like that'd be a huge momentum killer for Swerve. I feel like he's at a point where he needs to be beating guys like Keith Lee, and this feels somewhat beneath him now. So
in his sleep.
Has to be Swerve.
It's Swerve. If it's not Swerve, I will punch this building to the ground.
Do it. Andrade El Idolo versus Miro. I can't say I'm over invested in this one. Should be good in the ring, but the storyline does not hit for me. Kind of took a pause when Andrade was in C2. So it feels like the time has kind of come and gone for Miro. I just don't feel it with him anymore. I feel like there's still a chance for them to do something with Andrade, so I feel like he has to get some momentum or else.
And I feel like he just picked up momentum from the tournament, so you can't stop now.
So let him go, otherwise, because I've heard he might go back to WWE. So either do something with him or let him go.
And it doesn't feel like you know what you're doing with Miro, so no need to give him a win right now. I think Andrade has to win.
Yep. Julia Hart, Abaddon.
Julia Hart.
Yeah, I'm just Julia Hart. She's in the infancy of her run, and Abaddon's on a huge start. Because where did she come from?
Internet.
Yeah.
The grave.
Okay. Other 8-man tag, Jericho Sting team versus Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and it's so.
You said Sting, right?
So Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita, or it might be Fletcher. It's either Fletcher or Takeshita. It's unknown. So I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm just saying this is one of those cases where I really want to be wrong. The Don Callis family has a great track record in multi-man tags, and I would like them to keep that. And with them finally resurfacing on TV this past week, I would like them to pick up a W and get back on track.
But Sting,
Starks and Bill can benefit as well. However, when you look at who's on the babyface side, it's clear that probably won't be the case. Sting never loses. He never loses, even in multi-man tags.
Correct.
And Jericho being on the same side as him doesn't help the heels' chances. Team Sting for the win, unfortunately, but I'd love to be proven wrong.
I agree. It's Sting just because he always wins and he's on his way out. Well, maybe they'll
throw us a bone.
And he's losing before his final tour, but I don't think so.
Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, TNT title, no DQ. Another case where I'd hope to be wrong. Feels like Copeland will get some payback here and get even with Christian with 1 win apiece. I'm glad Christian won the first match, but I feel like you could agree where I always felt like it was leading to a rematch here. I'd love for Christian to win by shenanigans again, but I don't know what they could do that's new other than I could see Luchasaurus costing Edge because he wants to beat Christian for the title. You know what I mean? For that Batista payoff. So either way, I hope they tell a story with Luchasaurus in the aftermath. But I just feel like Edge wins. I really want to be wrong.
I'll take Christian just because we need something different.
Okay.
And I really just think that they're he's so great with this title right now. Why would
that's what I would think too? But I feel like it
still looks like it's set up for Edge.
Edge in that lineage is just something they would want to do.
And just the way wrestling works, he needs to get a win back. But
I really want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. Then Moxley and Eddie in the C2 finals. The result here is pretty clear to me. Eddie finally beat Danielson in the semis, and now it's time for him to be the other ace of the company. Moxley. Eddie's promo work throughout the tournament has been phenomenal. This win is more than well deserved. In addition, he also keeps the titles he put on the line in this whole thing. I hate to root against my main guy Moxley again, but Eddie winning just makes sense, and I'm going to be super happy for him when he gets that moment.
Would you say Eddie's going to finish the story?
He is going to finish the story.
Right? I think so too. This sets up for And again, Moxley would be the guy like, yes, this is what we
especially
have to do.
if like that's one of his best friends.
Yep.
Then absolutely.
It's just good writing. It's a good story. So
Yep.
it's Kingston. Pretty confident.
Yeah. Then we got our main event, which is MJF and Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship.
I've seen some people pick Samoa Joe, which I think is ridiculous.
And that's from someone who loves Samoa Joe.
I
would
love
agree.
Samoa Joe.
It's been a rocky road to get here with a lot of highs and lows. I've seen some people pick Joe to win here too, and maybe he could with involvement from the devil. But I just don't see it. As much as I love Joe, as do you, and I think he deserves a run.
I'm fine if he does win, but he's not going to.
I think he deserves a run, but I honestly just think the time's not right, and so I don't think he'll ever get it. I just don't see it happening as someone like Switchblade or especially Swerve needs it more and would benefit from it more because both of those guys are at the top of their game now. They're in their prime. They deserve a top run. I think MJF must retain here, he will retain here, and
Me too.
then we must get the reveal of the devil because if it doesn't reveal now, who cares? Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Do it now.
I think they need to as well. But I would definitely agree it's
And if
MJF.
it's not Adam Cole, I will punch a hole in the wall Andy style.
We're both going to be
And if you
angry.
think I won't, I will do it.
If Swerve loses and they don't reveal Adam Cole, it's going to be
I will punch
sad
two
day.
holes in
We'll
two
race
walls.
down here to do a pod.
You know what? I will kick something. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Walmart tomorrow. I'm going to buy a steel chair because I know they have them there. And then if they don't do what I want, I'm going to start hitting something.
Outside, a tree.
I will beat that diving rock we have at the pool. I will beat that rock senseless.
Fair enough.
If it's not Adam Cole, so help me God.
So did we only disagree on one?
They've created a violent monster. No, you picked Malachi Black in a battle royal.
Oh, well, that's going to be impossible to get right. But anyways.
I think I got that.
We'll see. So I think that's it, yeah? We still hit 2 hours, even with not as much stuff to talk about, because that's what we do.
Yep, that's how we roll, I guess.
So if we love or hate or have time, I guess, we might review tomorrow's show.
Just know there's a potential for violence because of what they've done.
And then the best of is almost ready to go. Worst of, I'll have to get back to.
In the coming week.
Me
I think
too.
best of is, for me, I'm good to go. I'm just waiting on you. And worst of, I am starting to finish up.
Nice.
on.
So look for that. Those are always fun ones. I'll even try to do some
Agreed.
video for those, I think.
Maybe.
We'll definitely be back here for 181 next Saturday. And until then, everybody, Happy New Year and take care.